This is on Twitch's side. Like, my internet is perfectly fine. Whenever we go down, I check whether my internet is okay, and it's more than okay. This is completely on Twitch's side. Like, nothing on my end that can be done. My internet is perfectly stable and perfectly fine. It's not on my end. Like, I promise you it's not on my end. Refresh chat. Stand strong! And now it started it like a new live as well. Ja jebem ti sestru u pičku ti jebem. Started as a new fucking stream, and which resets my fucking statistics as well. For fuck's sakes. Definitely not on your end, you're fine. Thank you, my friend. I don't know. It's... You needs 2,500 to afford running an Ethernet cable to his modem. Yeah, it's not my fault. It's the fucking platform. Swear, if I forget, like, it's motivating me not to even stream. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Finally build up a fucking audience, then the fucking thing kills. Then, you know, I lose 60% of the fucking audience, which pretty much makes chances of subscriptions 0. Complete waste of my time.
Of the most dangerous right-leaning grifters out there. No, not Alex Jones. Yeah, this guy. Andrew, I love shorts so short that you can see both of my testicles Schultz, is a comedian with a podcast called Flagrant. And I'll be completely transparent with you guys. When his stand-up
I'll pray for the stream while I'm at Pride today. I got you, bro. Thank you, my friend.
comedy shows up on my feed, I chuckle sometimes. Ain't nothing wrong with a little chuckle. At least it's not an occasional giggle. See, the reason why Alex Jones is not the most dangerous man here is because, despite his rhetoric, Mr. Jones does not portray himself as a rational man. He describes himself as a controversial American journalist, which is a lawyer's way of saying, I am batshit crazy. He is fully aware that the claims that he is making are extremely polarizing, and he caters his content.
That's why he does it. But he needs to legally create legal guardrails against being called a source for information in order for him to be able to defend himself in lawsuits, which is ironic because he lost the big fucking lawsuit. The huge fucking lawsuit basically made him bankrupt. And now it is 100% legally proven that this guy lies out of his ass. And these fucking podcast bros and comedians still invite him on his show. Though I'm sure some of them invite him on their show ironically. You know, haha, we call the crazy guy. Look at the crazy guy. This is the crazy guy. It's so funny, isn't it, guys? Haha, it's the crazy guy. But most of them don't. Right?
Content to his core audience of right-wing conspiracy theorists and evidently left-wing YouTubers who are going way too deep in a dextroamphetamine-fueled rabbit hole. Any rational person would understand that Alex Jones's brain is just two Beyblades rubbing against each other after a mediocre poll. So what scares me about Andrew Schultz is that despite the fact that his fans think he is a level-headed moderate who uses facts and logic to determine his worldview, how is this the appropriate reaction to whatever the hell this is?
We come for your testicles.
I have had stronger reactions to spam email than the reaction that Andrew Schultz gave here. I have observed stronger reactions from people who are actively dissociating than the reaction.
He's a lol cow. Yeah. If you use him as a lol cow, I guess it's not that problematic. It can even be funny.
That Andrew Schultz gave here. I have seen more emotional range.
I even feel like Alex Jones is embracing the fact that he's a lol cow. Like, completely embracing it.
The bag of broccoli that I buy every week but never use than the reaction that Andrew Schultz gave here.
Please, just let me die already.
You see, despite platforming himself as someone who sees both sides, his messaging usually has a very consistent lean towards the right. He lulls his viewers into thinking that he's unbiased, when in actuality, it's clear that he does have bias and holds views that are... What's the best way to put this?
What is this video? Yeah, obviously fucking Alex Jones is biased. It's fucking Alex Jones. But the comedians is the interesting part. Yeah, can we start with the comedians?
Cool. They were getting their dick sucked in the office. They were like, right? They were like supportive of like hip hop music. They said do whatever you want. Like, we don't want to be in your bedroom. They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives got 3 baby mamas. The president got 3 baby mamas. He's getting put left and right. Right? He's cool. He's the one saying, say whatever the f you want. So now conservatives have become Democrats.
My name is Kamala Harris, and I support the women's right to choose. My name is Bo Jiden, and I support building up America's infrastructure. My name is Say Like Rayshine, and I was the fastest kid in the 5th grade.
I did not think that was gonna work.
I want to break down what he said, though. Is being woke really that uncool? The gays, they dress...
On May 8th, 2025, Kanye West released a single.
Yeah, I couldn't take more of that. That was a Rent is Due video.
From his
If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That was a Rent is Due video.
upcoming album called Heil Hitler.
They don't understand the things I say on Twitter.
In the song, Kanye repeats the phrase N-word Heil Hitler over and over again, and he plays a soundbite from the Führer himself, a campaign speech he delivered in 1935.
What happened to my Kanye? What happened to my Kanye? My Kanye became a Nazi. It's fucking crazy. By the way, there was one YouTuber that already made a very good video on how Kanye became a Nazi. The argument is pretty much this man is incredibly addicted to porn, and he's always felt great shame because of his sex addiction and his, over-the-top fetishes and some of his experiences as a younger person having sex with, even people he's related to type shit, right? So he was really ashamed of that. And then right-wingers pretty much came and they told him, Jews control the porn industry. You must hate the Jews, for they want to manipulate us into being degenerates, the way they manipulated you, Kanye, when you were younger. And he was like, holy fucking shit. The motherfucking Jews, okay? That is unironically the Kanye West pipeline, okay? His biggest issue in life is that he's a fucking gooner, a cuckold, somebody who fucked his own cousin, and a regular everyday porn addict, right? But he was always really ashamed of that. So, just like every good reactionary does, you catch someone's insecurity, someone's particular, moment that doesn't shine the brightest, and then you turn it into a black hole of reactionary sentiment. That's what they did with my boy Kanye, okay? Read communist. Fuck you, that joke sucks. I love it. I love it. I love it. The Gooner to Nazi pipeline. Thank you, Oxdead Code, for the 5 gifts. That's what I like to see. Today is our last day to try and hit that goal, which is very unrealistic, but let's try and get as close to it as possible. For we are suffering on this great day of our Lord, on this month, okay? We are suffering. Anyways, yes, Gooner to right-winger pipeline. Let's continue. Actually, it's not Gooner to right-wing pipeline. Oh, no, it is, but it's anti-gooner, okay? It's anti-gooner because they tell you Jews made you into a gooner. We don't like Jews, and therefore we don't like gooners. We don't like being a gooner, okay? A true self-respecting gooner knows that there's nothing for him, her, or them to be ashamed of, okay? So they don't jump in any of these reactionary twists and turns. Thank you, Mamdani. Thank you, Mandani. Bathist. Your name is now probably very popular on Twitch.
The music video is interesting too. Eschewing conventions of the genre, it includes no dancing, no dynamic or rhythmic camera work. It's basically just sweeping shot after sweeping shot of 35 black guys wearing wolf masks, a nod to the Roman legion.
Also shifts the responsibility from you to some external group. 100%. Socialists shift your responsibility from yourself to a system, right? They explain how the system influenced you, molded you, and brought you to the position you occupy currently in your life. A socialist does not deny that you have a lot of personal responsibility at play here, but at the end of the day, understands that you're a ball being bounced between walls, which we define as a system. A reactionary just tells you, nothing's your fault. There's a particular ethnic group or any other category of difference that has caused this particular issue, and if we just gas all of them or shoot all of them or throw all of them out of our helicopter, your life is going to get much better. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it's very ironic that right-wingers tend to say that communists and so on are socialists and so on are just dudes looking for excuses for why their own life is not going that well. Well, they're doing the same thing but on steroids. Reactionaries don't attack systems, they attack outgroups. Exactly, that's why they are reactionaries. Their inability to do material analysis. They just invent D&D categories and play it IRL.
To the fascist appropriation of Greco-Roman symbolism. The song very much conveys that feeling. The melody is triumphant and the drums feel militaristic and regimented, as if to convey that an unstoppable force is coming to turn the tides of a great war. That's what N-word Heil Hitler is, right? A war chant. On May 9th, 2025, that's one day after the music video was released, Mike Knowles, podcaster for the conservative media outlet The Daily Wire, made a response to it, and it's an interesting one. See, Knowles isn't happy with the state of discourse around the song. He thinks that both Nazis and Kanye haters aren't getting it.
That is how Nazis are going to take it, and that is how the Kanye haters are going to take it, but it's not what he's saying.
And that's because, in his view, Kanye is being kind of ironic.
Look, Kanye opens up by saying something that I think is true, which is he's lost his mind because of wrath and drug addiction. I think he's admitting that. I think that's pretty sincere. And that sets up the rest of the song to say, don't take this literally, or, don't take this sincerely.
The point...
Yeah, guys. Ooh, I'm crazy. Ooh, I'm crazy. Ooh, don't take what I'm about to do seriously. Oh, I'm crazy. You can't sue me because I'm crazy. I just said I'm crazy. So now I can do whatever I want because I just said I'm crazy. That's how humans work, yeah.
The point is actually that Hitler is bad and everybody just missed it. And here's the thing that really jumps out to me, his interpretation isn't that crazy. I can imagine agreeing with him. Mike Knowles is right. Kanye does begin by saying he's not in his right mind, that he's angry and grieving and doesn't know what to do with his feelings.
I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out.
He's right. Just before Kanye says N-word Heil Hitler, he says,
I became a Nazi, yeah, bitch, I'm the villain.
Aren't villains definitionally bad? Doesn't that mean that he's bad and that you shouldn't listen to him?
I'm not in my right mind. I'm not thinking logically. I'm just full of anger and wrath and sin and vice. And I'm the villain. So, Heil Hitler, I'm a Nazi.
Finally, we could talk about the art made for the song. It's this freaky little guy, at once a horny demon and a swastika. A suggestion that Kanye considers Nazism an evil thing. Taken all together, doesn't it make sense to look at this music video as a kind of absurdist, almost Dadaist work of art? Kanye has gone as far as he could. He has broken all taboos, and what he found on—
No, it's a crazy, stupid gooner guy who's ashamed of the fact that he likes watching other dudes fuck his wife in front of him. And people started calling him out for his Nazi conspiracies, and he just continued digging deeper and deeper. So no, this is not a beautiful abstract piece of Dadaist art, my friend. No. This guy's a literal fucking mental patient, right? A lobotomy will do him a lot of good.
On the other side was emptiness and sin. That's what the song...
Yeah. You know who else was, facing with emptiness and sin, that dedicated his life to order and growth? Yeah, Adolf Hitler. Was he an artist doing Dadaist art?
Song is about.
This is the song that he says at the top. I've reached rock bottom. I'm a villain. I've lost my kids. I've lost my money. I've lost my everything. I'm a villain. So then how do you become good again?
This all sounds really good.
By saying N-word Heil Hitler.
And what's more, it's satisfying
No, it's not. I disagree with Joel. No, it's not.
to say. Kanye West...
Because this is not a hand being reached out by Kanye. This is him fully dedicating himself to the bit. N-word Heil Hitler. I'm a fucking Nazi. I'm the villain. That's it. I'm embracing the coat that has been thrown on top of me.
Fascism song is secretly moral and profound. It's a clever, contrarian feeling interpretation, and isn't that what the media analysis game is all about? Clever, contrarian interpretations. Even so, I don't buy it. This reading is just...
Okay, then we agree with Joel, because I was like, what the fuck?
Too neat for me, too cute. Something feels left out. So let's try to fill in the blanks. On October 17th, 2022, that's around 3 years ago now, Candace Owens, then a media personality working for the Daily Wire, sat down for an interview with Kanye West. That October was a big month for Kanye. On one hand, it was probably the closest he'd ever get to full mainstream conservative adoration. He went to a fashion show with Candace Owens where they both wore White Lives Matter t-shirts. He went to the premiere of her anti-Black Lives Matter documentary. He was and had been an outspoken Trump supporter. And everyone seemed pretty happy with the performance. Mike Knowles approved of the White Lives Matter stunt. Of course he did.
Kanye and Candace are coming out there and provocatively saying the narrative that you are being fed by the liberal establishment is not only false, it's the opposite of true. The only people who are being hunted down by the government right now because of their identity are white conservatives.
Tucker Carlson had
Guys about to arrest us.
Kanye on his show, kept reiterating how sane and competent he was.
The enemies of his ideas dismissed West, as they have for years, as mentally ill. Too crazy to take seriously. Look away, ignore him.
Salivated at every word out of the man's mouth.
So I really don't care about people's response to that. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet.
Ben Shapiro, co-founder of the Daily Wire, loved the interview, thought Kanye did great.
Frankly, it sounds fantastic. Frankly, Kanye sounds much more sane than virtually everybody else in public life.
On the other hand, cracks...
Thank you, Swissy Mystery, for moving that line further up.
Obvious cracks were forming at the surface. On October 8th, Kanye famously tweeted that he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people and that he couldn't be anti-Semitic because black...
That was fucking legendary. Remember that shit? Holy fuck. Black people are the real Jews. I can't be anti-Semitic, my guy.
People are Jew. And while Carlson cut this part out, Kanye made a number of strange and anti-Semitic remarks during their interview.
I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering.
These clips didn't stay buried long. They emerged just a few days after the conversation. And when Candace sat with Kanye late at night on the 17th, not in a studio, but in Candace's living room, you could feel that tension, that uneasiness.
People don't actually understand. There's something about you and I coming together that the media cannot stand.
Right.
In the background of their interview is this unspoken question: what is Kanye West to the world of conservatism? Can he be used? Can we call him normal? There are a number of moments in the interview where it seems that Candace is trying to moderate Kanye, protect him from his own words. Around 25 minutes in, after Kanye had already talked at length about his grievances with the Jews, Candace says this:
You are talking about an industry where there are Jewish executives, and that's the first time I've actually heard you say Jewish executives. Mm-hmm. And I think before, the way that they were trying to sort of callously interpret it was that you meant every single Jewish person in the entire world. Every person walking on the street has this power.
The media callously interpreted Kanye's DEFCON 3 on Jewish people tweet. All Kanye meant was that there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood, and why can't you say that? And they have a similar interaction just a minute later.
Jewish people have bought the black voice.
And that's what you meant by it, is that they're disproportionately represented in media, and so if something that you say is something that they don't like.
She's running so much defense on him. It's fucking incredible. Holy shit. And yet he is still burying himself in the anti-Semitic pipeline so fucking strong and so fucking fast. Thank you, Polky, very much for the gift sub. Especially to Cuphead. Thank you very, very much. Number go up. Let's go. Number go up.
They won't allow you to have it said. That's what you meant. That's getting more specific.
Candace seems almost excited by the idea that Kanye had some specific grievance, that his problems can be narrowed down, treated as legitimate or well-founded. The problem, though, is that it doesn't hang together. This interview is an hour and a half long and unedited, and it's very obvious that West does not have a clear idea what he's talking about. For one thing, he doesn't...
Because he never will be able to have a clear idea of what he's talking about. Especially Nazism is brilliant in the way it is not hyper-specific on most things, right? It leaves a lot of wiggle room because it needs to, because it's too irrational to explain from A to Z. You gotta ignore a couple of words in that alphabet so that people actively explain those concepts to themselves through their own, personal lens and personal spice, as people like to say. It's always intentionally vague, right? Even their most hyper-specific definitions. The ancient Aryans, the Nordic races, the Mediterranean races, the Jewish problem, the Bolshevik problem, blah, blah, blah. All would be explained, but 95%. Leave that 5%. Okay? Like, okay, we all, why did certain people mix more than Nordics, which allowed the Nordics to be the closest to ancient Aryans than any other ethnicity, right? For example, they don't even address that. They didn't because they just didn't. They stuck together. They're smarter.
Doesn't have any specific...
Having Candace Owens and Alex Jones essentially telling you to tone down the overt anti-Semitism and allegiance to Hitler. Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. Thank you, Pickle Jones. Thank you very much for the 2 months. Line go up.
Specifics. Like, he says this at one point.
If I hadn't went so far, said the word DEFCON, right, DEFCON, then we couldn't have had an open conversation about what Jewish execs are specifically doing. All of the conversation would have been said to be hate speech.
That he made his DEFCON tweet to open up the conversation so he could talk about issues he'd had with Jewish businessmen. And even leaving aside how absurd that claim is, we must recognize that it's also a lie. Kanye never talks in this conversation or otherwise about any of his shady business dealings, never names names, speaks of bad deals. Look, we could talk about the entertainment industry as much as we like. I have no doubt that it, like any industry, is sometimes cutthroat and...
We're doing okay, except that my fucking stream got sabotaged 10 fucking times by fucking Twitch. By fucking falling. Like, for fuck's sakes. I'm still pissed. Sorry, chat. I'm still fucking pissed. Second I start getting some fucking numbers, it immediately fucks me up the arse. Of how I say arse, like a Irish person.
Brutal. But Kanye is a very...
The stream has fallen.
wealthy man, right?
For 3 years, Forbes wouldn't call me a billionaire. It is important if people are calling you crazy to be like, oh, but I'm a billionaire.
So how much really could...
Oh my fucking god, I hate this guy. This guy is a fucking cretin, okay? This guy needs a fucking lobotomy yesterday. Yesterday. Fucking hell. Think you made you say I love Amazon? Even now you made me say I love Amazon even though I'm complaining about the fucking thing. Thank you very much for the 9 months. Thank you very, very much. So fucking narcissistic, this human being right here. Absolute like demon behavior. Complete demon behavior that I refuse to excuse with autism or something because that would be ableist as fuck. Oh, he can't, autistic people, they can't, they do some stuff like be Nazis, right? And be self-obsessed fucking billionaires and excuse it away with, oh, it's autism. That will be fucking ableist towards autistic people. No, fuck this fucking guy, autistic or not.
Could Hollywood, could the Jews...
Why the fuck do you hate Jews? Because Forbes didn't want to call me a billionaire for a couple of years? I've never heard a more disgusting sentence in my life. And I've heard a lot of fucking sentences. But this one is a very rare Pokemon because not a lot of people are billionaires. So not a lot of people can say shit like this.
For 3 years, Forbes wouldn't call me a billionaire. It is important if people are calling you crazy to be like, oh, but I'm a billionaire.
So how much...
Oh my fucking God. I've heard a lot of sentences sounds like something that Trump would say. Absolutely.
Really, could Hollywood, could the Jews have screwed him over? What did they do to him?
But to a certain extent, he gets discounted no matter what he says because he's insane and he's black. Yes, 100% both are factors. And because from the two sides, right? Well-intentioned, usually white liberals are not going to attack him because he happens to be black, and right-wingers are going to defend him by saying he doesn't mean it because he's literally insane, right? That's it. Both sides can go fuck themselves because fuck this guy.
Him. How unfair was it? More to the point, Kanye is certainly not just upset about bad deals happening in the music industry. Maybe that's what started him down this path, I really don't know, but the man is all over the place. One of the major things
I'm sure a world-controlling cabal would care about a lot about one rapper's net worth estimate. You don't understand. Like, rap is the most important thing on planet Earth, and he is the best rapper, right? He also, my friend, he also makes flip-flops and t-shirts. He takes a t-shirt and he rips it up a little bit, and then he sells it for $500. He's today's Picasso. He's today's Da Vinci, okay? You don't understand. Hemingway? Who is Hemingway? Today we have Kanye West, who thinks that the fact that he makes some fucking tunes and some flip-flops, that he's somehow a person of elevated and astute power that requires our respect. Because music go bop bop. Because flip-flop kind of look cool. Because comfortable shoe. My guy, you're a commodity producer. Sit in your fucking cubicle and keep producing. My guy thinks he's sitting in an executive chair in the hierarchy of capitalism. That's so fucking funny. And he realized he's not sitting in an executive chair. I mean, in the top of the capitalist hierarchy. He realized it, and he was like, "Why the fuck do I not get to call up Merkel and tell her what to do with the Russians, okay, or von der Leyen or something?" It's because Jews. That's why. They're stopping a proud rapper guy, flip-flop producer from reaching those peaks. Okay, chat? I want you to murder, to stab 1,000 times any fledgling celebrity worship that you have in your fucking brains. Fucking choke the ever-living life out of that part of your brain that gives people who make flip-flops or even pretty decent tunes any sort of elevated deity status. Oh my God, he's an actor. I love him so fucking much. He's very good at repeating some lines and LARPing of being a gangster or an opera singer or a ballet dancer or a very sad man who is cheating on his wife or whatever the fuck. It's art. It's beautiful. It's awesome. It doesn't require worship. What the hell? You worshiping a dude that pretends to be other dudes for a living? That's your ideal? Dumb fuck? No. Celebrity worship is fucking dumb. Okay? He's not a capitalist. Doesn't he own his own company? Sorry, I'm a bit too grass touchy on this topic. No. He is a capitalist. I'm not saying he's not a capitalist. But he wants to be, in the halls of true power, right? Because he happens to have made his billion.
talks about is the black abortion rate.
The idea that black people are not Jew is the greatest lie that's ever sold, because you don't see the Jewish abortion rate at the same level as the black abortion rate. 50% of black deaths a year is actually abortion.
He suggests at multiple points in the conversation,
you know, even the whole Gooner shit to the side, what an incredible surprise. A billionaire of doesn't matter what ethnicity, even, for example, a black dude in a country where there is systemic oppression of black people, but once you get to to such a high level of accrued capital, you become a fucking reactionary. It's the natural way of things, how it has always been and how it will always be.
That the Jewish-controlled media is encouraging black people to get abortions even as Jews themselves don't get them, and how they conceal this fact from the public.
But then you ask the question, you can't even Google, like when you Google Jewish abortion rate, it'll be one piece of information. The next information is like from 4 years ago or something. There's no information.
He likens this arrangement to the Holocaust.
Charlie said, hey, I want to take you to the Holocaust Museum. And I said, I want you to go to our Holocaust Museum, Planned Parenthood.
Doesn't this man... all of his kids, okay, he cares about black people not getting abortions because that's what, less black people? Then why is he only breeding white women? If he wants more, you know, proper black people and not biracial people, why is he fucking white women all the time? Oh, God. My guy, like, if your kids have a child with a white person, their child will be white passing. If you care so much about melanin. God damn it. This guy, sorry, I love this guy. He's a fucking experiment. It's too easy.
Like, we're still in the Holocaust.
At another point, he suggests that Jews are conspiring to prevent intelligent black people from...
So when exactly did he go on the Nazi pipeline? When he realized that Jews actually control porn. That's one. When they told him. And he was like, that's why I like watching other men have sex with my wife in my living room. That's it. That's when he began
rising to the top.
There's been a shift. They don't want there to be another Beyonce. They don't want there to be a Candace. They don't want there to be a Ye. We're going to replace Martin Luther King.
It's about Christianity, not black supremacy. No, it is also about race. Listen to what he's saying right now.
So that Jews are conspiring to prevent intelligent black people from rising to the top.
There's been a shift. They don't want there to be another Beyonce. They don't want there to be a Candace. They don't want there to be a Ye. We're going to replace Martin Luther King.
There you go. And he's also comparing himself to Martin Luther King. But it's all about black people, right? Blah, blah, blah. If he wants to run defense, he's going to say it's about Christianity, not about black people or some shit. I don't give a fuck. Worship? What? What the hell? What? It's awesome. It doesn't require worship? What? What the hell? What the hell are you on?
With a drug addict.
In context, that drug addict he's referring to is very clearly George Floyd. Later on, Candace asks when people started saying he had bipolar disorder, and Kanye responds that a Jewish doctor diagnosed him and a Jewish personal trainer leaked it to the public.
I was told that by a Jewish doctor, and the information was put out by a Jewish Hollywood trainer to the Jewish media.
He says this happened because the trainer saw him reading the Bible.
I had started reading the Bible really heavy and rewriting Bible verses. And when the Jewish trainer saw, and you're like looking like, well, that sounds pretty bipolar, but...
Are these people executives? Did they give him a bad deal? Or are Jewish people simply duplicitous and horrible? See, the problem is that Kanye's anti-Semitism is most reminiscent of...
They saw me reading my Bible and they told me I'm autistic. That is how the world works. Holy shit, the Jews. A Jew saw me reading the Bible. And then they told me I'm autistic. I love this man. Okay, I take everything back. This is peak content. Okay, do not lobotomize him. Put him in like a museum where, you know, for 50 cents he can just give you his theories or something.
4chan neo-Nazi types. One of his close friends, at least at this time, was Nick Fuentes. He was very much part of that culture.
When I went to Charlottesville and we said Jews will not replace us, that sort of encapsulates both of the problems, right? Which is replacement migration and if Jews run society, are they not responsible?
So yes, Kanye is worried about Jews being in power, but that doesn't mean that his criticism is specific or pointed or centered cleanly on the music industry. Rather, he is conveying over and over the belief that a cabal
Don't get 50 Cent involved in this. I apologize to 50 Cent and all of his followers.
all of Jews is attempting to destroy him and black people and society writ large. At the beginning of their interview, Candace talks about a message her father sent her from Hawaii.
My dad called me stressed from Hawaii.
Wow.
Kanye seems excited and they have this interaction.
Read the last text from my dad out loud. We talked about the miracles. Read out loud the last text.
Wow.
Read out loud.
When do you want me in Hawaii? That's wild. Yeah. Well, my dad's in Hawaii right now.
Later on, Kanye talks about taking a trip to Nashville and seeing
Whoa, crazy, bro. Oh, suka. Dajte mi sekundu samo. Let me move to headphones. Audio technica. Technologia. Technologia. I could never say it properly, chat. How do you say it properly? Technologia.
Tecnologia!
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 Tecnologia! Tecnologia! Oh.
Tecnologia!
Tecnologia! Tecnologia! Speaking of 50, what did he do? He's fucking with Mamdani or something? Jesus, 50, what the fuck? Can't you just chill? Spend your money. 50, oh my god, no ads. Eat my fucking anus. Yeah, so something happened with 50. I can't open the thing.
a restaurant named Cane's.
And I said to my chief of staff, get me a plane. I'm going to Nashville right now. And the feeling is right. Then we went to a restaurant. And the restaurant literally had all the same letters of the name my mother gave me. It was Kayne. So that's another, it's like you're talking about your dad with Hawaii. And like, I had to, you know, you guys saw that. You saw me hand the phone over like David Blaine. I couldn't have written that.
I don't think this kind of behavior is so uncommon in the grand.
My guy thinks he's in a movie. My guy thinks he's in a movie. My guy thinks he's in a movie. Amen. My guy thinks he's in a movie. My guy thinks he's in a movie. My guy thinks he's in a movie. Oh God, amen. Another technology.
So is it
classic? What is it? Afraid of technology. Do not be afraid of technology, but be afraid of advertising. Subscribe now for $6 a month for free through Prime. Support the show. Get us closer to our unreachable goal and basically pay me money to make fun of an insane Nazi guy. That sounds like a great way to spend your money.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology? Technology! So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology? Technology!
That's actually funny. I've never seen this before. Thank you, Barry, you son of a bitch. Oh no, Kubashi, you son of a bitch. I love how two different channels still call them. Okay, what is 50 Cent up to? Jesus Christ. 50 Cent's just a contrarian for the sake of contrarian. 50 Cent offers ZOHRAN Mamdani $258,750 to leave New York City. I'm not filling this plan. Where did he come from? Whose friend is this? I'm not feeling this plan, no. I will give him $250K and a first-class one-way ticket away from New York. I'm telling Trump what he said too. Okay, crazy, man. I think it's because Kanye sells some shit in grocery stores or something. He's fucking with Kanye's bag. Kanye's like, I need to sell this juice. I'm a juice salesman. I love when these guys take themselves so seriously and they sell juice. 50 Cent companies. Let's see. Companies. 50 Cent has built a diverse business. So G-Unit Records, Unit Film, Intelligence, Sire Spirits. Okay, Sire Spirits, probably booze. Inventors, clothing, blah, 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 energy drinks. 50 Cent energy drink. Okay? With people's, do you think that, oh my, what the fuck is this? Do you think the people's grocery stores that Mamdani wants to open, that they will sell Street King 6 hours of energy orange mango, okay? Would they sell Monster energy drinks for guys that have outstanding car payment loans stacked up? Monster energy drink for dudes that have not seen their child in at least 8 months. Monster energy for dudes that spend 90% of their paycheck on strippers. Monster energy. For when you are late on your car payments. Yeah, and it looks like poppers. It really does, bro. Why do I know what poppers look like? I don't fucking know. Sire Spirits. Oh my God, look at this website. Holy shit, I love 50 Cent so much. You must be of legal drinking. I am very legal drinking. It's given so much Old Spice energy. Look at me, now back at you. Look at me, now back at you. It is beautiful. Built on legacy. Born from a dream to create a legacy of exceptional taste and quality, embodying Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Relentless pursuit of excellence. The vision. This is just the beginning. But what is it? Is it whiskey? Chief Executive Officer. Like even inside of his thing, he really wants a picture where he's got like a LinkedIn version, and he's like, I'm a CEO, guys. I'm a CEO now. I'm no longer just a rapper man. I'm a CEO man now too. Yeah, they make various spirits. Yeah. Very professional. Notice me energy. Yeah. Guys, please take me seriously. I don't want to be only known for the rap stuff. I'm a big business serious man now, okay? Half the people elected are CEOs. Half, all of them are CEOs or prospective CEOs. That's gonna be the gulag of the future. There's not gonna be any physical punishment. We're not barbarians here. There's just gonna be, you're gonna be put in a room with access to the internet, but the only website you can access will be LinkedIn. Okay, so you have access to the internet. You just get food and water, and you can browse LinkedIn and post on LinkedIn. All the capitalists or proletarian class traders, they're all gonna be in that prison camp. Gulag in.
scheme of things. People like to find significance in coincidences, like to believe that fate sometimes shows its hand. But in the case of Kanye, it's hard not to see a pattern here. To him, an obviously paranoid person, the world is a very designed place, overburdened with meaning. There are great forces that conspire to do evil, embodied by Jewish people, and there are forces of good, embodied by himself and the omens that surround him. Candace didn't release this video to the public. Perhaps that's because she didn't feel that Kanye came off particularly well, or perhaps, and I find this more likely, it's because he spoke ill of the Daily Wire. Either way, whatever forces constrained her at the time, they didn't remain for long. On March 22, 2024, Jeremy Boring, then CEO of the Daily Wire, announced that they'd be parting ways with Candace Owens. There was never an official reason given for her termination, but I think there's one event that probably lends the relevant context. On November 3rd, 2023...
Supremacists do be infighting, like holy fucking shit. No, I believe in Zionist supremacy. No, I believe conspiracy theories about Jews. Oh, we must part ways.
In the wake of October 7th and the Israeli occupation of Gaza, Candace Owens...
The Germanic man deserves to inherit Europe. No, the Spaniard deserves it. No, the Francophones are the true whites. Daily Wire Civil War was 10 out of 10 experience.
Tweeted, quote, "No government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide, ever." A few weeks later, Ben Shapiro, presumably responding to takes and coverage like this, said,
Yes, the question is about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this is disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making, the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
That day, Candace tweeted an excerpt from the Bible. "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both money and God. Christ is king." Ben responded, "Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit." And that was basically the end of it. A few months later, Candace was fired. Because there's never been an official
They quitted her
or detailed explanation from the Daily Wire, there remains a lot of unknowns here in impenetrability. Was Candace fired because she acted like an anti-Semite? There's a pretty strong case for that. The phrase "Christ is king" is
No, the joke there is that they always knew that she was an anti-Semite. They fired her when she became openly outspoken against Israel. When she became an anti-Zionist. Okay, Ben Shapiro doesn't give a shit if you are a fucking anti-Semite. But he does give a shit about his paycheck. And a lot of his fucking paycheck comes from Israel. So the second she started talking ill of his literal employer, one of the core... one of the core board members of the Daily Wire corporate headquarters, that's when she needed to go.
Sometimes associated with American fascist movements. Nick Fuentes, for example, gave a speech and had that phrase chanted at him.
Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king!
And while Candace denies that she intended such an association, who knows what's true. Either way, the tweet itself leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Ben Shapiro has chosen money over God. He's defending Israel because of greed. I just don't believe that. I think Ben is, if nothing else, a true believer in this cause. And given that, it seems clear that Owens is, in an ugly and insulting way, invoking Jewish stereotypes. She does that sometimes. In another video she made while at the Daily Wire, she characterizes American political Jews as Marxists.
There are all different types of Jewish people. And this particular people that I've been talking about, that I'm talking about right now, represent a fringe minority of Jewish people that want nothing more than political power. It is just like Black Lives Matter. These people are ultimately Marxists, okay? These individuals are evil Marxists.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Holy shit, man. Jews sound awesome.
They do underhanded things, underhanded tactics to freak people out and to ultimately cause division. right?
Which is not only obviously absurd, but also reminiscent of the Nazis, who fearmongered about conspiratorial Jewish Bolshevism. It's clear, to me at least, that Candace Owens did smuggle some pre-existing anti-Semitic sentiment into her rhetoric on Palestine. So, is that it? Is that the only explanation we need for her termination? Well, maybe. I guess I'd want that to be the case. Still, I don't think that's the whole picture. Let's be honest. Do you find it so implausible that Ben would want to oust Candace, not just because of her anti-Jewish rhetoric, but also because she implied that Israel was committing a genocide? I don't. After all, that's why he called her disgraceful and faux sophisticated in the first place, right? When Shapiro is asked to justify the Daily Wire firing Candace Owens, he always uses the same example.
The Daily Wire would not have a host, would not pay a host who was staunchly pro-abortion. They would have no obligation to pay a host who is staunchly pro-abortion.
And I think it's a telling and interesting line. In 2003, when Ben Shapiro was 19 years old, he wrote an article called "Transfer is Not a Dirty Word." In it, he argues quite explicitly for the ethnic cleansing of Israel, not just of the Palestinian population living in Gaza and the West Bank, but also of the Arab Israeli citizens. It is an ugly solution, he writes, but it is the only solution. Yeah.
A final solution.
Yes, he uses the word solution. Now, Ben has retracted that article on multiple occasions, calling this solution inhumane and impractical, a moral and philosophical error. Still, this article speaks to the world Shapiro inhabits and inhabited, the education he received. It's haunting to me. What's more, it's not entirely clear how seriously Shapiro takes his more humanitarian convictions. In 2023, he went to Israel and had a nice photo op and conversation with Bezalel Smotrich. Amazing the impact one man can have, Smotrich wrote, Shapiro retweeted. Bezalel Smotrich is the head of the extremely far-right religious Zionist party, Netanyahu's financial minister, a man who currently has broad authority over the West Bank. And for him, transfer is surely not an ugly word.
How is he taller than Smotrich? Yeah, pretty impressive.
In 2021, when an immigration bill introduced by his party didn't pass, he threw a psychotic tantrum at the Arab members of the Knesset.
אני איתכם לא מדבר, אנטי-ציונים, תומכי טרור, אויבים. אתם פה בטעות, כי בן גוריון לא גמר את העבודה ולא זרק אתכם ב-48.
He would go on to say in 2025,
I'll let him speak.
The Palestinians,
you know, nothing to add,
will be totally despair.
When an unhinged Zionist speaks, or any other type of fascist speaks, let them finish their fucking sentence.
Understanding that there is no hope and nothing to look for.
Because there's nothing that you can say that will make them look worse, okay? That's peak.
We're in Gaza and will be looking for relocations to begin a new life in other places. Shapiro never aired any criticisms of a man who clearly supports ethnic cleansing, at least none that I can find, and that makes sense, right? Shapiro is plainly and radically on Team Israel. He certainly doesn't believe the state is doing anything morally wrong, quite the opposite.
What is Israel doing right? What is Israel doing wrong in this very specific current war?
From an American perspective, I think that Israel is doing pretty well.
Man, I can't even imagine what that fucking room smells like. Nightmare blunt rotation, am I right? Jesus Christ.
Israeli perspective, if I were Israeli, I would actually want Israel to be less loose about sending its soldiers in on the ground level.
Look, again, we don't know what happened with Owens, and I don't deny that her conspiratorial anti-Semitism was probably a factor in her contract being terminated. But really, does it make sense that Ben would be so much kinder and more lenient to Candace Owens' suggestion that Israel was committing a genocide than he would be to some pro-lifer? Would he feel the desire, the obligation to allow her this kind of speech? No, I don't think so. And in any case, if the Daily Wire's main problem was with the possibility that Owens might be anti-Semitic, we must ask, why did they keep her around so long? Why did they defend her uncritical and strange friendship with Kanye West?
Candace.
Because they knew that they can funnel the anti-Semitism light people that listen to Candace Owens into the Daily Wire audience. What they could not allow, though, what they could not allow for, though, is obviously the anti-Zionism. Very cringe and anti-Semitic anti-Zionism, but nonetheless anti-Zionism.
Is his friend and has defended him and has tried to say she didn't really think he was being anti-Semitic in these comments, and kind of tried to find an angle for him that would help others make sense of this in a way that wouldn't lead you thinking this is a wild anti-Semite. So then, as I understand it, everybody turned to you guys, you and Ben, are like, fire her ass. And I think that's fair.
That's right. I think she defended her friend Kanye. I'm not going to ask you to pile on. I'm not going to ask you to disassociate. You know, the actual person, Candace, is actually friends with the actual person, Kanye West.
Why did they fire her? At the moment, it would look best for her. Why did Ben Shapiro, why did the Daily Wire only care here when it was already far too late? On August 7th, 2024, after she no longer had Daily Wire bosses to impress.
Oh, the vibes are nice. It's a fucking Sunday. We chilling and talking about chuds. Feels good, doesn't it? Feels good. The room is nice and cooled, decently lit. We're having these important conversations. We're piling on and piling on. And then, an interruption. Advertisement walks in through the room and fucks up the vibes. So do not let advertising fuck up your vibes like the ad is going to play in exactly 3 minutes. And subscribe for $6 a month or for free through Prime. Do you want your boy Hugo to be making 100 times less?
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
There we go. Do you want your boy Hugo to make 100 million times less than the Daily Wire? That is preposterous. So be like Palmer, the fucking G. Thank you so much, Palmer. Everybody say thank you, Palmer. And subscribe or gift subs to your fellow chatters and elevate them to an adless life. One of a true child soldier. Thank you, Palmer, for all the burgers.
Press, Candace Owens released her podcast with Kanye West.
That was the ad pitch. That was the pitch.
Alongside the interview, Candace made a video where she speaks about Kanye, about their relationship, about how she's changed since they started talking years ago.
And so today's episode is going to be a little bit different because there is so much more that I want to say about the things that happened off camera, the things that were said to me off camera by Ye at that time. And I finally feel that the world is ready to hear those things.
Candace speaks about Kanye West with a lot of reverence, describes him as a visionary ahead of his time.
Everything.
You think they fucked? I'll just leave that question out in the void.
Was happening because
I know that my implication is misogynist as fuck. I absolutely know it. But I'm still asking the question. Nah, she's married. Oh, yeah. That principles stop reactionaries from doing what they want. I'm sure. Yes.
I am not the same visionary that I believe.
Ye hates black women.
That Ye is. I did not know. I want to be honest with you. I did not know what on earth he was talking about.
But when you actually listen to the story she tells, her account of Kanye off the record, it sounds more uncomfortable than anything else. She talks about how he laid all these far-flung theories on her, claimed that Michael Jackson was killed by some Hollywood Jewish mob.
When you say to me, as he did, that they killed Michael Jackson, it's quite a heavy thing. They killed Michael Jackson, Candace. I'm going, what are you talking about?
How the Khazars did something.
He also brought up to me the Khazarian kingdom. Literally was asking me if I knew about Khazars.
She says that when she expressed that she had no idea what he was talking about, he accused her of being disingenuous, a Zionist shill.
I think he thought at some point that I was playing a game with him. He's like, you're very smart. You know, you read tons of books. You have to know what it is I'm speaking about. And I'm going, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Then he starts accusing me of being controlled by Zionists. And I'm going, what on earth are you talking about? I just want to do my show.
It can be tempting to think of Kanye's strangeness as a kind of performance, a way of getting attention. And I'm sure that's part of it. But there is an authenticity to Kanye, a person who doesn't go away when the cameras turn off. If anything, I think he may have restrained himself in his podcast conversation. Still, whatever tension may have existed between Candace and Kanye, it's all water under the bridge now. Candace has done the reading. She knows about Michael Jackson. She knows about the Khazars.
Again, if you're watching this series now and we're starting to speak about things historical, speaking about who the Khazars were, who the Khazars potentially are.
She even adds a few theories of her own, talks about how Freud walked back his seduction theory of hysteria in order to protect his pedophile friend.
You can discern from his letters that Sigmund Freud's father was a pedophile, that Sigmund Freud was covering up for pedophiles.
Talks about an old book called Hollywood Babylon by Kenneth Anger that proves that the entertainment industry was founded by degenerate Satanists.
What he establishes in this book, Kenneth Anger, is that the intention of creating Hollywood was to create a sort of demonic religion.
I suppose I could try my best to piece through these ideas, but I really don't think that makes sense, at least not in this context. The way Candace works her way through her theories, it doesn't feel like it's meant to be interrogated. Like, she talks about Michael Jackson.
The lengths that reactionaries will go to in order to not do systemic analysis, like, you live in a system and it reproduces particular patterns of behavior, particular commodities, particular art, etc., etc. The lengths that they will go to include, apparently, Satanist orders that control the types of movies and shows that are made because they want to create a demonic society. I love it. It's always surprises me with the next hot take, okay? It's always wilder than the previous one.
And says that he was likely murdered by a conspiracy. She even made a separate video all about Jackson.
So today, I am going to tell you the true story of what happened to Michael Jackson. What and who killed Michael Jackson.
Yet between her discussions of the man, I still have no idea why she thinks his death was an intentional plot. She never gives evidence for that claim, a solid reason to have such a belief. She never even mentions his well-recorded drug abuse problem. Was that a plot too? Or she spends around 20 minutes of this video reading from Hollywood Babylon, yet we never consider the reliability of its author. Was this guy, Kenneth Anger, really so informed about the sexual hedonism of Hollywood elites over the span of like 50 years? Does anyone corroborate his many stories? The book seems so lurid and over the top that I just can't imagine taking it at face value.
This religion, enormously lucrative for its perpetrators, as cynical as they were shameless, was just old, heathen, hedonistic body worship, dolled up in a new disguise, the adoration of the stars of Hollywood, USA. It was an illusion, a tease, a fraud. It was almost as much fun as the old-time religion.
My guy is saying people are horny, and when superstars are sexy, it makes more money by using like a bunch of words and saying demon. People are horny. That's why they will buy a movie where there are hot people that play the main characters. That is satanic and also Jews. You're horny because Jews. Which, that is the irony of all ironies, is the main reason that Kanye West is a Nazi. Because that's what they told him. You are horny because Jews.
Without blood on the altars, but the blood would come. He then talks about,
yeah, they worship Slanesh.
The star worship of the heavenly bodies.
This entire video feels like a hallucination, and I can't help but ask, for what? She wants us to accept that Kanye was destroyed by yellow journalism, that the Jewish media manufactured claims about his mental wellness and anti-Semitism because he refused to play their game.
So much of what Ye was trying to communicate to me was very plausible.
He wasn't trying to play their game.
Is a dorm, make loving. I just pulled up in the ghost, fucked that bitch up out in London. Then I fucked up on a cousin or her sister, I don't know nothing. And my niggas getting ignorant like a lighter, bitch, we ignorant.
Don't look at the square, guys.
All this water on my neck look like I fell when I went fishing. So much dumb.
Okay? Kanye is really, really, he wasn't playing into the demonic satanic cabal that wanted to sexualize everyone and make everyone hyper horny.
Like this conspiracy of age
Commodification of women's bodies. Kanye West, what are you talking about? Insane.
agents working with lawyers, working sometimes with people's managers and agents to affect.
That's why they wanted to destroy him. He didn't put enough tits in his videos. Thank you, Verano Zombie, for the 6 months. Love you, Zombie. Thank you very much, my friend.
Actively get somebody kicked out of Hollywood via the means of yellow journalism, just lying profusely about somebody.
But I'm sorry, that's just not possible. People don't think poorly of Kanye West because he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder by a Jewish doctor. Why would they? No, the public turned on Kanye because he tweeted.
Remember, because he was reading a Bible in front of them. Jews saw Kanye reading a Bible and they convinced him he's bipolar.
That he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people because he wore a White Lives Matter t-shirt, because he talks about how Jews are conspiring to increase the black abortion rate, because he said that slavery was a choice, because he went on the Alex Jones show and said he especially loves Adolf Hitler.
There's a lot of things that I love about Hitler.
Just this frame is my favorite frame. This is, I would commission a painting of this, like just this frame. I would hang it in my living room. Same like Zizek's, just so that the people can come into my house and be like, what the fuck? Why is this above your TV? Like in the most central place of your apartment. And I would just tell them, you're too stupid to understand. Okay? This is art. You don't get it. Just go full DEFCON elitist on their ass. Okay? Just look at this. I know it's old, but this is just it's wild. You got the whole political compass here, okay? The only one that matters. Fucking insanely evil twink guy. Boomer dude that screams at you. And faceless confused man. Okay, these are the three political animals that control the world, and they're all in one picture. It is incredible. Okay.
Hitler.
These are events.
A lot of things that I love about Hitler.
These are events that objectively happened, and there are lots of
median voter meetup.
of them, so many. What is left here for yellow journalism? At one point in their original interview, Candace and Kanye have this interaction.
They wouldn't let us talk on Daily Wire, specifically for me having the claim, the possibility that the darker Jew known as blacks that came from Africa could possibly be Israelites, that could possibly be Jews.
Thank you, Chonky. Love the discourse plus Balkan vibes. They remind me of awesome moments over there. Thank you very much, my friend. And for 3 months as well. That is very kind of you, my friend. Thank you.
And I was, just to be super open, I was confused by it because I'm like, are we saying that there's no such thing as black Israelis? They live in Israel. So I don't know, maybe Kanye just...
Oh my God, no, that's not what he meant. Oh my God. Oh, that's so cute. They're doing like different types of anti-Semitism at each other. It's awesome. They don't even know which one is which.
May Allah awaken the people.
Stems from it, maybe I descend from it, who knows, right?
At first, I assumed that Candace was being disingenuous, that she knew full well that Kanye wasn't saying his family was from Israel. The idea that black people are in some sense the true Jews is a fairly old one, and I imagine Candace knew about it and was lying. But now, I'm not so sure. Maybe she was genuinely confused. Maybe she was really trying.
But okay, how do you do political commentary and not know, like I can't take it seriously. How do you do political commentary and not know who the black Israelites are, you know? The dudes on the corner that scream like, top. Probably there's a compilation, top black Israelites moments, something. What the fuck are these AI generated videos, for fuck's sakes? God. Oh my God, it's all...
Have you ever wondered who you really are, and whether the stories you've been told about your history, your identity, your God are true? What if the tribes of Israel were never lost, just hidden? Today we are going to uncover the greatest cover-up in religious history, the stolen, scattered, and silenced identity of the true children of Israel. This isn't mythology, this isn't a conspiracy, this is biblical, this is historical. Today, we peel back the veil. We are going to uncover the greatest cover-up in religious history, in righteousness, revelation, and readiness. As 1 Peter 2:9 proclaims, you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. This is the hour.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Sorry, I just wanted to show you. Okay, this is what these people believe in, right?
To make it make sense, backfill any rationale, any justification that could remotely fit. Now though, there is no need for lies or justifications, for particular grievances to be aired, for ideas to be explained. Hollywood is filled with Jewish Satanists, and this book says,
as a black dude myself, these dudes are always ruining productive discourse. Of course, my friend. It's I ironically think they're just made by the fucking CIA. It's crazy. Which by the way, guys, the CIA made this. Is a very, very, very new. Obviously, in leftist circles, that's not what it's used for. But it's a very, very new dog whistle for Jews. It's pretty crazy. So if you see videos where like I can't believe the CIA would do this, there's a chance that somebody's just making fun of American imperialism, the CIA as a terrorist organization, which it is, and so on and so on. But it might be a guy that just, is bypassing community guidelines and wants to say that Jews do the particular thing.
Says it always has been, and that's connected.
But yeah, psyop for sure.
To Sigmund Freud and to seduction theory, and that's why we know that Kanye was MK Ultra.
I believe that
literally up until like 3 days ago, I did not know it was a dog whistle. I did not know. I watched the video that had like 600,000 likes on TikTok, and then I opened it, and the first most liked comment was, "My guy, you can just say Jew instead of CIA, right?" And that was liked by the creator of the video. So I was like, what the fuck? What the helly?
Kanye West was MK Ultra.
And both of our fathers have some recent connection to Hawaii, and a restaurant in Nashville has a name that sounds like Kanye. On May 12, 2025, Ben Shapiro released a video responding to Kanye West's song, Heil Hitler. The video is really what you'd expect. Shapiro doesn't approve of the song, and that makes...
Wet SP word. Wet SP word. Heil H word. Heil H word.
Makes sense.
I mean, two things can be true at once. One, mental illness. Two, hates the Jews. Both can be true. And in fact, in Kanye West, are true.
But what I find striking about it is the sort of desperate energy that it has.
Kanye got me over here agreeing with Ben Shapiro. We're so fucking cooked, chat.
I'm just pointing out that many of the people who are very enthusiastic about Kanye West making common cause with people on the right are utterly silent when it comes to his absolutely open shift into Nazism. Many of the people who call him friends and acquaintances and people, like, where are they? Do they have anything to say about this or no? It's still about the Jews.
Now, I don't know who Ben Shapiro is referring to here. Maybe he knows tons of people who are personal friends with Kanye West, but I think we can safely guess one person he's talking about, Candace Owens. And here, it almost feels like he's pleading with her. Candace, is there ever a point when enough will be enough? Do you care at all what this man is saying?
Free.
And then, not good enough, elevated. Not good enough, elevated. Push it to the max, elevated. And then he goes.
Free. Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF. 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 Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah, it will be free.
The makers of this Twitch broadcast, including the chatters, have no political opinion on what was said in that particular video, nor did we intend to platform it. I was randomly sent a link by one chatter and I opened it without knowing what would play.
For the record, she doesn't care. She made a video around...
Right, chat? Right? We condom. We durex hardcore this.
On this time where...
This is an apolitical stream. Oh my god, that Zin hit like a fucking truck at the back of my throat.
She mentions the song and has little to...
No politic here! No politic here! That's another classic.
Say. Kanye is an...
No politic! No politic here!
Incredible producer. That melody is catchy.
As I've said yesterday, I'm extremely disappointed in how catchy the beat is. You hear it once and it does not get out of your head.
Isn't it telling and important that this sort of thing is being censored? What does that mean?
All my...
Hugo, I apologize if you already answered this elsewhere, but I can't find it. Am I allowed to do a clip channel of you like a son? Yes, 100%. I will not copyright anything. You take 100% of the money. No joke. Repost me as much as you want. TikTok, YouTube, have fun with it, man. Make your fucking bank. God bless. Of course, everybody's got a blessing.
N-words Nazis. He didn't get banned for saying the N-word.
Just a link to my Twitch or something would be appreciated, but you don't have to do it. Do your thing. A link would be cool.
He got banned for saying Hail Hitler. And so it's interesting to see people now having that debate and having that discussion.
That's about it. At another point in his video, Ben Shapiro says,
turns out that some rules exist for a reason. And being against Hitler seems to be I don't know, call me controversial, call me crazy. Hitler seems bad. I don't know. I feel...
Whoa. I'm Hitler's top guy.
Whoa.
What am I gonna do? Adolf Hitler chose me to lead the revolution.
I feel like Hitler was not a good person, and I feel like the things he did were bad. If that makes...
Whoa.
Okay, fine, my wife's a terrorist, bro.
Makes me controversial, if it makes me a censor of some sort, I guess, sure, all right, fine.
And there's a sense that he can't believe he's saying this, that he has to. There's an edge to his tone. He seems angry at his audience. That makes sense, I think. When you go into the comment section of this video, it is genuinely riddled with Nazi buzzwords and anti-Semitic jokes. They really made it so you can't see dislikes. Thanks, YouTube. Oy vey, you're only supposed to sing about murder and drugs. The song is banned in 109 countries. That's a reference to the fallacious claim that Jews were expelled from 109 countries, the implication being that if so many places throw you out, it must be a you problem. Based yay, the Jew is mad, LMAO. Crazy how some of the anti-Semitic comments have more likes than the actual video. The world is healing. This song was banned in 109 countries. I went on a bender last weekend and got kicked out of 109 bars. It wasn't my fault. On a scale of 1 to 271k, the song gets 6 million. I wasn't familiar with this one, but in Holocaust denial circles, 271k is sometimes thrown around as the actual number of Jews who were killed. Oy vey, shut it down. That song is literally gas. 109 countries for a reason. The world owes the Austrian painter an apology. Perhaps that list got dull, but for the record, it took me less than 5 minutes to compile it. It's the majority of the comment section, and I'll scroll by the most recent comments here. You can see it for yourself. It's hard to gauge public opinion from something as performative and capricious and self-selecting as an online comment section. Sometimes what looks like a crowd is in fact just some guy's fandom.
That was the unironic beginning of the death of the Daily Wire, which has, done its job so well. That's what we like to say here on the show. The Daily Wire has done its job so well What is its job? To push people further and further and further down the right-wing pipeline into more and more and more and more radical viewpoints, right? So it has done its job so well by making harder and harder and more radical right-wingers that now the Daily Wire, for most of those viewers, is too soft, too meek, does not openly talk about the Jewish question, and so on and so on. So they've performed so well in the marketplace of ideas and the literal marketplace that they are going to eventually bankrupt themselves. And people like Candace Owens are much smarter because they understand that as the needle is being moved, they also gotta move, right? As the pipeline expands further and further, they got to expand the types of people that they talk about, the outgroups that are going to criticize. But Candace has one little problem. She's black. That's the problem. So she's going to keep moving her audience further right and further right and further right. And then she's going to end up suffering from her own success. Because her viewers are going to be like, once she turns them into full-on-fledged racists, they're going to be like, why the fuck am I listening to a quote-unquote subhuman? And they're going to leave. So it's a stupid business model, but she's going to milk it. She's going to milk it hard up until that moment. The same way I'm going to milk the fact that you guys spend hours upon hours here with me, listening to me talk about stuff as a social engineering type of thing to motivate you to give me money.
Here comes the money.
And Avoid the Ad is going to play in exactly 4 minutes for $6 a month or for free through Prime if you want principled anti-fascism, if you want a principled show by a stupid, weird-looking fucking Balkan guy with a ski mask on Twitch. Then subscribe for $6 a month or gift to your fellow chatters and turn them into beautiful child soldiers and avoid the ad that is going to play, okay? Let me see if that social engineering that I'm trying to utilize here is going to work. If we progressives have a better business model than the reactionaries on these media spaces, these media spaceships that people like to say, thank you, Jaeger, for accepting to be socially engineered, okay? Complete the look, get a ski helmet. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to get like the whole thing. And then I'm going to film while skiing. Like I'm going to have a camera in front of my face. I'm going to cover news. I'm going to watch stuff while skiing on the fucking thing. It's probably going to look better than this. But yes, subscribe, avoid the ad. Thank you for even considering it. I really fucking appreciate it. We're far from our goal this month, but still, finishing off the month somewhere closer to 2,000 would be really, really G as fuck, okay? Make my mom proud of me, as they say. For future reference, do you think you could be convinced to play RimWorld on stream at some point? Why not? Absolutely. Why not? Ad plays in 2 minutes and 30.
I'm getting...
If we had ads. We don't have ads.
Activated a forum somewhere deciding to bombard a creator. Indeed, Nick Fuentes, longtime hater of Shapiro's, tweeted about the video, no doubt fanning the flames. And yes, many of those comments have thousands of likes, but it could very well be the same thousands of people spamming the like button on each other's posts. Still, let's not be too cautious here. I don't think Ben in this video is fighting a mirage, that he's mad at a few meaningless trolls. The numbers don't tell that story. Since leaving the Daily Wire and leaning more and more into conspiracy theories, Candace Owens has become unbelievably successful. Her YouTube channel regularly gets millions.
Yeah, because it's a business model, okay? A more successful one than mine, apparently, because ain't nobody listening to me, which is understandable. We're all fucking broke, I get you completely. But for her, it's a business model. As the needle is being moved further and further right, she adapts to what is considered the new right in between area, where it's radical enough to keep the big boys there, you know, the unhinged reactionaries, but also not too out there for the normies to get scared away. So it's really smart, very evil and fucked up, but smarter than what the Daily Wire is doing, which is rejecting to adapt to this new reality of their particular market.
Of views. She runs the 9th biggest news podcast. Her career is very much on the upswing. And her video where she blows off Kanye's song didn't get any comments calling her feckless, accusing her of being too comfortable with naked anti-Semitism. This pressure only goes one way. The whole thing leads us to one conclusion, and I think Ben Shapiro is having a hard time with it. That if the Daily Wire started peddling conspiracy theories, started throwing around oblique references to the Jews and their harmful effect on society, the audience wouldn't care that much. People would like it fine, and it would make for good content.
Yeah, you gotta sit in the hole you dug for yourself, my friend.
On May 9th, 2025, Mike Knowles made a response to Kanye West's music video where he argues that the whole thing has been misunderstood.
I'm not in my right mind. I'm not thinking logically. I'm just full of anger and wrath and sin and vice. And I'm the villain. So, Heil Hitler, I'm a Nazi.
If nothing else, it's an argument that makes intuitive sense. Lines like, people don't understand the things I say on Twitter, N-word, Heil Hitler, are just kind of funny, and when we see things that make us laugh, we often assume they were built that way on purpose. Still, the argument doesn't add up. Is Mike Knowles aware of Kanye West? Perhaps if Heil Hitler was a track from the peak of Kanye's career, when he was still widely understood to be a brilliant and fairly progressive songwriter, we could have an argument about this.
What do you think is the most embarrassing right-wing grifter moment you can remember? The most embarrassing? I mean, it's kind of a reaction to the most embarrassing one that I'm ashamed I didn't do before this, but it's this one. All of you know it. Try and guess. Try and guess. Okay. Is this one.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
That one. That one was really good. That one was truly excellent. That one was truly, truly excellent.
But it wasn't. Kanye has been almost singularly devoted to the project of anti-Semitism for years now. There is no reason to think it's all been a joke. A few days after the song was released, Kanye tweeted, "I am done with anti-Semitism. I love all people. God forgive me for the pain I've caused. I forgive those who have caused me pain." He seems to have reversed course since writing that, tweeting, "Shopify is currently holding $4 million of mine. Just to put it in question form, who do you think Shopify is ran by?" But the point remains, why renounce his hatred of Jews in such an earnest post if the hate was never meant earnestly? No, I think Knowles is clearly missing something here. Does Kanye West imagine himself as a card-carrying Nazi? I don't know, but my guess is probably not. Still, that doesn't mean he's mocking that identity. Rather, I think Kanye is saying something like,
you don't have to be a Nazi to be anti-Semitic. Absolutely everybody can be anti-Semitic. The guy is completely unhinged anti-Semitic. And because of the anti-Semitism, he also likes Adolf Hitler, as hilarious as it sounds. He doesn't like Adolf Hitler because he's a Nazi, or likes Nazis because he's a Nazi. He likes them because he's anti-Semitic and thinks they have some pretty good points. Those two things can exist at the same time. Not all anti-Semites are Nazis, but all Nazis are anti-Semites.
Like, you cast me as a villain, you shamed me over my anti-Semitic beliefs, a gang of Jews in Hollywood conspired to destroy my life. Now I speak out and that Jewish gang who controls the media calls me a Nazi. So, fine, I'm a villain. Heil Hitler. In other words, Kanye
So fucking deep, except it's fucking not.
is martyring himself and saying he was radical.
Martyring himself at the altar of a Spotify fucking... I mean, it's not even on Spotify. I can't even make the joke. God. When the people that make our treats started thinking that they're important. Incredible.
By that martyrdom. And the thing is, as absurd as it might seem, that kind of gesture is common. It's almost banal. On November 6th, 2024, a Twitter account posted the question, why are Gen Z males the fucking Hitler youth? Wokehammer Els, an account that splits its time between conservative and Nazi memes and pictures of Warhammer figures, responded, very easy answer as a Gen Z man. You kept calling us evil because of immutable characteristics, stole our future, denied us our birthright, and corrupted our hobbies. All you had to do was be normal and not be crazed ideologues. So I ask you this in return, how does it feel to look at the monster you created? This person calls himself a monster. He seems to feel he is enacting or wants to enact something evil. Yet this is justified because his birthright was stolen somehow, because people are engaging with video games and Warhammer in ways he doesn't like.
Yeah, but I think this analysis lacks a tiny little, like 1% of... He is calling himself a monster because he lives in a basement. He's not actually doing anything. How to explain this better? When you're doing something, like you're rounding people up and you're putting bullets into their brains, that's when you don't call yourself a monster. That's when you justify, right? Justify it was necessary. This was for the future of our children. If we didn't do that, they would have overtaken our country. Our nation would have been... muddled with those of the foreigner, whatever reactionary sentiment, right? But once you're doing something, you try to justify said evil, quote unquote, actions, right? When you're just sitting in your basement, you're doing the opposite. You're doing power fantasies, okay? You have a page called Wokehammer Els, and you think you're doing Nazi praxis by corrupting members of that community that, you know, are really into Warhammer, etc., etc. That is why you call yourself a monster, because you have the fantasy that you at some point want to live through of going out there and fucking up everyone that has destroyed your hobby or the people that you believe have negatively influenced the place you find yourself in life. Right? Just a slight addition to what a friend of the show, Joel, is saying here. Right? You get my point. Thank you very much, Alex, for the 3 months. That's very kind of you, my friend. Thank you very, very much. He's LARPing, yeah.
Is he joking? On September 9th, 2024, J.D. Vance, then vice presidential nominee, tweeted with no evidence that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio were abducting and eating dogs.
All we wanted was music and sneakers, yeah. And our guy, I mean, it's one of the greatest stories of all time. That's why I'm still covering it. And that's why I think this video is great, even though it only came out 7 days ago and the whole Kanye saga nobody really cares about anymore. Because it's one of the greatest stories of all time. A guy joined his dick from a very early age, and he got into strange fetishes a lot, like cuckoldry and so on. So he started feeling ashamed for all of that. Then right-wingers came and told him that the porn industry is ran by Jews. So he was like, the reason I feel shame and the reason I like watching other men have intercourse with my wife, which again, nothing wrong with that, nothing good or bad with that, you do your fucking thing, I don't care, is because Jews. And then he became an anti-Semite. But the story gets even better than that. But that is coupled with insane, narcissistic tendencies, where because he made a couple of good songs and flip-flops and, I don't know, ripped t-shirts, my guy started thinking that he is Picasso, that he is Da Vinci, that he is a once-in-a-generation brilliant mind, and that therefore he should be let into the halls of power as an established billionaire. These are his fucking words. And then he wasn't let into those halls of power because he's not let in because he makes music and flip-flops, okay, my guy? You're not making tanks, okay? You're not making missiles. You're not an oil baron. With all due respect to your 1 billion, oh, big business, okay, 1 billion, yeah. Shit that, you know, the real motherfuckers literally use to wash their ass. He was like, it must be Jews. And that coupled, obviously, with the Jews made me goon. Now it's the Jews aren't letting me into politics. So it's an incredible story. It's an entertaining story. I like to talk about it purely from an entertainment perspective. And maybe we get to learn a little bit about reactionary tendencies from it as well, which, you know, are relatively simplistic, to be perfectly honest. It's not that deep. Reactionaries find your insecurities and then they exploit them to make you into a reactionary by putting blame somewhere else. That's it. Kanye's new song news update. Diddy's son and Kanye West released Diddy Free song with lyrics about trial. Fuck the world, critics, and the witness. Hip-hop artist with penis issues. Rapper Andrew Johnson used steak knife to cut off penis and testicle while on drugs. Oh my God. My God. Holy shit. Okay. E-News. I'm not opening that on the main screen here. It honestly just shows the lack of creativity said by Yee. I don't know if that's yeah. Huge part of this too was his mother dying early into his career. If Donda was still here, he wouldn't be nearly as egotistical. Yeah, absolutely. We can connect those dots, but those dots do not excuse his behavior. That's kind of funny. Everyone talking about Kneecap and Bob Villan and Glastonbury, but nobody talking about this. What the fuck? What the hell? Best flag in Glastonbury so far. Oh, I want this flag. That is so niche. That is so utterly niche. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know why he wants the IDF to not be able to hear, because that's what he said. Deaf to the IDF. He wants to hurt their hearing. That's why he's shouting. That was the intention. His constant push to be the ultimate contrarian at every point show that he is just a lonely man that wants the negativity, attention, to feel smarter than everyone else. That, but he also believes. He's an unironic. Thank you very much for the sub. But he's hardcore anti-Semitic. Like, he believes in anti-Semitism. Don't let him excuse his way out of it.
Dogs and cats.
And thank you very much for the 13 months. It's pretty crazy. 13 months. Psh, you gave over $70 of your hard-earned money. Thank you very much, my friend.
The next day, Donald Trump repeated that claim during a debate with Kamala Harris.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating They're eating the pets.
When asked to defend his remarks, Vance claimed that the media had ignored the harm caused by these immigrants for too long, necessitating the, as he calls them, cat memes.
I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
But it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast.
The media backed him into a corner, so he had to lie about legal immigrants working in the US, say they were kidnapping people's pets. Is he joking? On August 7th, 2024, Candace Owens made her retrospective on her conversation with Kanye West. At the end of the video, she starts talking about herself.
Black artists who are talented, who come out, and when they're existing within a corporation, they're adored and they're applauded. I mean, I'm out there speaking about Black Lives Matter, and that media said, go Candace, we love you. When I said, wait, actually, I don't agree with this many children dying. I don't agree with any of this. Then flipped, did a complete 180, tried to wacko Cando me, tried to pretend that I'm completely illogical and coming apart.
Link should be pinned, my friend.
Now, I don't know this, she doesn't say it explicitly, but there's this sense that the way that Ben Shapiro treated her, the way the media treated her, was part of what truly convinced her that Kanye West is a visionary, that Hollywood is and always has been filled by Satanists, that the world is governed by these massive conspiracies. She saw the beast herself, it tried to MK Ultra her too, and so Kanye must be right about everything. Is she joking? On October 17th, 2022, Kanye had his podcast with Candace Owens. Toward the beginning, he explains why he decided to post his DEFCON tweet.
And the reason I said it like that is just to say, I know you guys are going to call this anti-Semite, and I'm not afraid of that title. Now I'm going to lean into that title, so call me whatever you want.
Kanye had to be an anti-Semite because that's what
Guys, trust me, I'm playing 5D chess, bro. I was really planning that tweet out, bro.
they were going to call him anyway. They don't understand the things he says on Twitter, so why not just cut to the chase? Is he joking? In a moment toward the end of his video, Mike Knowles says that Kanye's song is an implicit commentary on the state of online political discourse.
Kanye has now said the ultimate thing you can say to get attention. He said it on the Alex Jones show, I love Hitler, and now he's done a whole song about this. There's nowhere to go. You know, even you think about political commentary. 15 years ago, if someone said, I support the Constitution, I want to cut taxes, that was extreme. Then 5 years ago, if someone said, I don't know, I don't think a man can be a woman, that was extreme. Now this is all blasé stuff. People need more. If you are engaging with politics, not to be civically engaged and to advance the common good, if you're just engaging in it for a dopamine hit, as many people do, then this is it. Now you've reached the end of the road.
It's a dazzling moment, I think. One where Knowles speaks with an unexpected clarity and self-awareness. When he says it used to be the case that saying trans people weren't valid was shocking enough, it's hard not to think back to his own comments. His claim that transgenderism should be eradicated from public life.
Transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology.
That a man dressing in women's clothes is an obscenity and therefore not protected by the First Amendment.
Should we have the freedom of expression? The First Amendment? That's what it's all
we don't
for.
have, there's no First Amendment right to obscenity, first of all. But second of all,
it's obscene for me to wear a dress.
In this way, Knowles is tying himself to the grand conservative project that Kanye has now finished. And where else can we go from here? What more can
This guy is such an easy target. Like, too easy, even for me.
Can we say? And yet, Michael can't live with it, not completely. Kanye, as it turns out, didn't mean what he said. He couldn't have really meant it. That's the end of the video, and thank you so much for watching. Scrolling by you right now is a list of my patrons, people who support my channel, and if you want to join their ranks, you can. My patrons get a bonus video from me every month. This month I'm working on the second half.
You have the link to the video in the description. It was an okay video. Thank you, Big Joel, as always, kicking ass. That was fun. But it was basically, the whole thing was about that particular conversation that they had with Candace Owens, with Owens the Clanman Owens. Okay. You want to watch the new Hakeem video? I haven't watched a Hakeem video in a second. Hello.
It's no secret that the rich own and control just about everything.
Yeah, let's do some theory. Okay, let's be big brain boys and girls and NBs here. Okay. Hakeem video.
But the question is how? What strings do they pull?
Who is that? My boyfriend.
Does following the money actually lead anywhere? Let's take a look. A good but cliche rule of thumb for understanding who's most influential in guiding policy in, for example, the United States is to follow the money. In 2010, the United States Supreme Court ruled on the case Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission that money donated to political campaigns was actually a form of speech, and as a result couldn't be regulated very much, if at all. This opened the floodgates to dark money, which surged 20,000% from 2006 to 2024. Only 3 years later, a study...
Did you see the Twitter thread, the pocket watching Hakeem? Yeah, it was hilarious. Hakeem actually posted it in our private Discord server for the D program. It was like, guys, I didn't know it was this rich. Holy fucking shit. Can somebody send me most of this money? But even if he was, number one, he isn't, but even if he was, so what? Eat my ass. We wish we were making that much fucking bank, but we aren't. But even if we did, then fuck yeah. Absolutely fuck yeah. Especially because we use the money to create newer and newer projects.
They showed that nearly 70%.
That is why you should subscribe to me as well and avoid the ad is going to play in exactly 1 minute, okay? Why is nobody pocket watching me, okay? I want Twitter haters explaining how you own my own apartment even though it's mortgaged, okay? I want somebody to snapshot the very fast car that I own, okay? But I can't do any of this, okay? This is mortgaged. Nobody's going to pocket watch this. You guys need to subscribe so I can pay off my mortgage, so I can be a private property owning socialist, okay? So that I am as hypocritical as possible. I want maximum hypocrisy. 100% owner of private residence. Yugo, why are you able to afford electricity? Don't you know some people don't have access to it? Yeah, I shouldn't pay for my electricity bills. Instead, I should create new communist organizations. Okay? Somebody dedicates their whole life, their whole career, preaching Marxism. And you will have guys post about them and say, this guy's not doing enough for Marxism. You need to be broke while doing it, okay? You need to live on the street. From Starbucks to Starbucks, use their Wi-Fi to make your communist agitation propaganda videos or streams or podcast shows or whatever. Mortgage for an apartment? Yeah, I got a fucking loan, whatever the fuck you call it, from the bank. A bank. But it's my name and my fiance's name, of course, on this beautiful little 110 square meters, I believe, apartment. So I want a house as big as Hassan's. I want to be called a fucking hypocrite. So put your money where my mouth is and subscribe to the show. Or oil me the fuck up, elevate fellow chatters to the status of a child soldier, and elevate me from a Soviet bloc apartment in the middle of the Balkan Peninsula to a massive, immovable yacht of the West Coast American Ocean. Very good, very nice. Thank you. Subscribe now.
The wealthy Americans had bankrolled candidates. For a certain set of the affluent donors, writing checks wasn't enough. Some bundled contributions while others held lucrative fundraisers. What does it add up to? From 2010 to 2022, super PACs, these are tax-exempt political action committees flush with cash, spent approximately $6.4 billion on federal elections. Then in 2024, super PACs set a record by dumping $2.7 billion into elections, with billionaires alone providing 15% of all funds. It's unsurprising then that we see studies that show that when interests between the rich and poor clash, the policies that favor the rich win 20 times more often. Even when laws do align with public needs, it's often luck, not design. Now, you can't talk about money in American politics without an obligatory mention of Big Pharma, and there's no better example of their spending power than their fight against lowering Medicare drug prices. In 2022, PHRMA, the lobbying arm of the pharmaceutical industry, how clever, spent $32 million to block negotiations, while funneling another $16 million to advocacy groups opposing reforms in pricing. Many of its members, including Sanofi and Bristol Myers Squibb, didn't sit idly by either, but separately lobbied to kill even the mildest reforms like the Inflation Reduction Act.
Is the housing very expensive in the Balkans like it is here in Iraq? Yes, it's very expensive. In the capital cities, it is very, 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 very expensive, especially for the standards. In general, the Balkans have become very expensive. They're as expensive as Western Europe for a lot of stuff. Some stuff, they're even more expensive than Western Europe. It is absurdly expensive here. Again, especially when adjusted to how much normal people actually make. It's crazy.
Example. But before Citizens United, there was the 2008 financial crisis, during which a certain $2 trillion banking giant, Citigroup, amongst other banks deemed too big to fail, had their liquidity guaranteed by the federal government. By that I mean banks reaped 70% of the $444 billion in authorized bailout funds. They weren't allowed to go bankrupt using your tax money. Meanwhile, homeowners and others who felt the heaviest burden of the 2008 crisis got scraps. $31 billion in foreclosure aid, a mere 7% of the total. Then there's Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was pitched as middle-class relief, but by 2027, 83% of its benefits will go to the top 1% of households, averaging $1.5 million or more annually, while the bottom 20% of earners face a tax increase, in fact. No wonder why only 34% approve of the law and why 62% of Americans think corporations and
There you go. That's why you don't have to believe in a particular cabal of a particular ethnicity doing this or that sort of manipulation. You have a system that eats itself like a snake eating its own ass, of course. He said the thing. Where capital reproduces capital. The more capital you have, the more political power you have, because you can quite literally purchase it. And then you will use that political power to either entrench in the status quo and continue making the money at the same pace as you've already been making, or by encroaching on public or socialized goods, call them whatever you want, and potentially expanding said market encroachment and said capital gains. TLDR, it's a systems play. It's not a groups play. Even the wealthiest and most successful and most powerful capitalists are still servants to capital, to the market, to the system. Okay? It is no longer, it is only technologia. Technologia. It is not biologia. Our planet, our species, not our planet, our species follows the rules of a fucking code, a very simple piece of code, which says more money, better. Less money, worse. And by money, I mean profits, of course. And even billionaires who get to enjoy all of the benefits of serving said code are its servants as well. Sure, their lives are absolutely brilliant and fantastic, but they're still serving said piece of code. Thank you very much, Pneumatic Toaster. What's up, my friend? Thank you for the Prime. Thank you very much.
the wealthy dodge paying their fair share of taxes, an objective truth regardless of what polling says. Labor rights reveal a similar divide. Despite 74% of Americans viewing unions as vital for stability, 27 states passed so-called right-to-work laws.
But you don't get it. I will work very hard every day, and one day I will be a billionaire too. American dream, baby. Yeah. Of course, that's absurd and it's fucking hilarious, and people who believe this are fucking either insane, stupid, or bootlickers. But what I found to be hilarious is that even if you reach the top of that hierarchy, even if you become a billionaire, even if you become a CEO, even if you become an active board member, you still have somebody above you, and that's the system itself. You need to satisfy it. You need to make those quarterly decisions where the quarterly profit rate is continuously increasing. This is not a human being telling you that every month Amazon needs to make more money. Amazon has to make more money month in and month out if it wants to grow and if it wants to dominate. Why does it need to grow and dominate? Because that's the rules of the game. So it's the game leading everything. It's technologia, not biologia.
To cripple union funding. This framing matters, of course. Label them right to work, and they poll well. Call them anti-union and support nosedives, even amongst conservatives. Public demand for accountability rarely survived corporate lobbying. After the 2008 crash, 87% of voters wanted stricter Wall Street rules, with 80% demanding accountability for the banks that caused the crisis. What happened?
Here you can make the classic argument, how can you have true democracy, true electoral democracy, when people with higher accrued capital have a bigger vote? Because they literally do. Except all cliches, all stuff most of you chatters probably know.
Dodd-Frank reforms, intended to curb risky financial industry activities, got gutted, letting risky practices like predatory lending come back. Meanwhile, Amazon turned tax dodging into high art. In 2020, despite record sales and $20 billion in US income, the company paid an effective federal income tax rate of only 9.4%, significantly less than the standard 21% corporate rate in the United States, and a $4.1 billion loss in tax revenue. Over the initial 3 years following the Trump GOP tax law, the company's effective federal income tax on US income was only 4.3%. This isn't a hit piece on Trump, by the way. Democrats aren't any better on this. The Supreme Court didn't stop at lobbying. They also gutted environmental accountability. They ruled that deficient environmental impact statements, which are meant for at least some oversight over polluting or otherwise environmentally damaging activities, will no longer automatically invalidate projects, instead requiring...
Today we got, obviously this is not sponsored. Today I'm doing a weird one. I still got the Swedish ones. Some chatter asked. This is Lime Flame. I need to lower my dosage. I feel like a 3 is too strong for me. My nicotine receptors have slowly declined in a good way. Like I need less nicotine. This one tastes fucking great.
Snusчик, блядь, malo snusa, brate, ono da se usnusamo. Da se upaučujemo, brate.
Are you ever going to attempt having Hakim on the stream again? I'll try. I'll do my best. Just last time he almost got me banned. We were 10 minutes into the stream and I had to cut it short because my guy just said that he will kill someone or that someone deserves to die. My fault to an extent because I didn't tell him that he can't say stuff like that. But, you know, I was hoping that it's a given. Especially someone like him that works on the internet. Works on the internet. Works on the internet. Let's take a small pause from Hakim's video and hear how 20 CIA spies mysteriously disappeared in China. I want to chill out. I don't want to have like too deep of a conversation. I want to congratulate the Chinese security apparatus for doing its job properly, and I can't wait for this video to potentially turn that into a bad thing. And chill with you guys for a bit.
It took decades to build a...
I remember thinking I'd save that stream to catch up on later jokes with me, I guess, yeah. I tried snus for the first time a few days ago and it was so overrated. How do people develop addictions? Have you been a smoker before? It's only for people that smoked before, in my opinion. Either vaped or smoked.
Spy network deep inside China. Then, in the space of just 2 years, 20 of their informants disappeared. It was one of the worst intelligence failures in history, involving secret chat websites, a potential mole, and a whole lot of incompetence. And today,
Isn't it fucking crazy that when Americans want to be spies, want to send spies to countries that like are ethnically more cohesive than the United States of America, they basically have to take someone whose like grandparents were from that particular place and then turn them into traitors of that particular place. Like you have to go and betray the motherland. So you want Chinese spies, you have to take Chinese Americans to go and betray the homeland. It's wild. It's so fucking wild. It's Quisling on steroids. Like, how do you live with yourself? How does a Chinese American go and like spy on China for the United States? But they are American. They're not really Chinese. Yes, I agree. But still, like, some stuff you don't do. It's just, what? It's fucking weird. Especially because, like, you're like, I'm not Chinese, I'm American. But then the United States government is like, you're Chinese enough for us to ship you over to China. We still hyper-focus on the fact that you're Chinese. You'll never be fully American for us because you're not white.
I'm going to show it all to you.
The Chinese government has systematically identified, captured, and killed up to 20 informants working.
Jesus fucking metal, making it sound cool. Let's go. Is this channel based or some shit?
For the CIA.
Our covert assets are the most precious asset any CIA officer has.
We had 20 U.S.-related spies and operatives in China that are no longer to be heard from. They're either dead or in prison. China took care of business.
It's 2006.
Standing on business!
4 years before the China incident. And a private...
Subscribe for every subscription. Another CIA operative in China dies. I just hit up Xi Jinping when I went off screen, and he confirmed every sub equals CIA agent deep underground.
A private contractor named John Reedy is working deep inside one of the CIA's most secretive branches. Reedy is in charge of locating informants and setting up communications with them. His specialty is the Middle East, specifically Iran. But one day he notices something strange. I want you to take...
Pow! Markin just killed a CIA officer in China.
Take a look at this document that Reedy filed. Now, it's top secret, so a lot of this has been redacted, but there's enough in here for us to make sense of what he was trying to claim. As our efforts increased, we started to notice anomalies in our operations and conflicting intelligence reporting that indicated that several of our operations had been compromised. The indicators ranged from to sources abruptly and without reason ceasing all communications with us. Years before the China network collapsed,
got caught in 4K. That's why the sources stopped fucking talking. Both the sources got fucking offed, and the sources most likely snitched before they got offed.
Reedy was seeing the exact same pattern. Informants abruptly ceasing communication with them, mysteriously disappearing. Their information tap was shutting off midstream. And now?
Midstream hot.
I want to show you what went wrong.
Holy shit, a hype train. We're putting all of those CIA agents in a train and we are shipping them back to America in metal boxes. The bigger the train, the more CIA officer metal boxes shall be found in the train. Chat, you know what to do. Make it go fucking choo choo choo. That even rhymed. I'm so good at my job. Holy fucking shit.
Woo! Look at this website. Whilst most of us can't understand what it says, it's in Persian, you would probably say from looking at it, it looks like an ordinary soccer fan website. It's not. This is the communication tool the CIA used to speak with informants in Iran.
Wow.
This website was hiding in plain sight on the internet for anyone.
Lele! Thank you, Palmer! Let's fucking go. Palmer fucking saving me today. Thank you so much for the oil, brother. I'm putting it in every nook and cranny. True fucking true. Lots of space for metal boxes. Lots of space for metal boxes.
One to see.
What's up, Uvi?
It's been shut down now, but I could still access it using the Wayback Machine. Now, if you look closely down here, there is a search bar. And this is where it gets interesting. If we reveal the source code on the website, which you can do with 2 clicks, the label on the search box is password. So now, through some deep investigation, we know that this search box is not really a search box, it's actually a password.
Thank you, King Vidora.
And if you enter the correct password...
That is so cool. This is a real journalism. Like, holy fuck. This is a brand new channel. Schnopp. How 26 Israeli spies hunted this man. The secret plot to kill the Pope. How North Korea makes billions from crime. This is super fun shit. North Korea, by the way, does you do some pretty unhinged shit. I heard some stories even about what you can do with the embassies. But this is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Wonderful. A new
And for now, it's pretty decent, interesting research. Half of it might be bullshit, but whatever. What's up, V2 Tax? Thank you for the sub. Level 4 hype train. We have four carts on our CIA metal box train leaving China right now. How many will we have? Depends on you chatters.
Password, a second pop-up and second login is triggered. If you enter the right password there, a secret message box appears where you, as an informant, can share your intel with the CIA and receive intel back. Believe it or not, this basic messaging website became incredibly popular within the CIA when John Reedy was working there.
It's pretty smart. It's pretty fucking smart.
First, it was only used for communicating with sources in hostile areas, like war zones, where it was too dangerous to meet in person. But as it was so convenient to use, it spread way further than that. Hundreds and hundreds of clones were produced and given to informants all around the world. Each site was built for a single person.
That moment when you call everything a psyop, but then an actual website is a fucking psyop.
To limit the exposure if that informant was caught by an enemy government. Here's one designed as a Johnny Carson fan website, a photography website, and one for video games. But sometime in 2009, Iran finds a website exactly like this one. Sources believe that a double agent led them there. And once they had access, they start to dig. Using Google of all things. Iran notices that these websites have specific digital fingerprints. They're little bits of code that made them similar to each other. So they plugged these unique fingerprints into Google search using some advanced search queries, and boom, just like that, they find other versions of these websites.
Whoa. That's, oh my God. But come on, there has to have been some sort of systems in place that would not allow somebody to just do what you just described.
These websites have specific digital fingerprints.
But come on, nobody wiped those digital fingerprints. Oh God, that's so dumb. What the hell?
Little bits of code that made them similar to each other. So they plugged these unique fingerprints into Google search using some advanced search queries, and boom, just like that, they find other versions of these websites.
Holy shit, they killed CIA agents through Google. Holy fuck. Insane! The internet is insane. We have 1 minute left of the hype train. Go insane on the membrane. Let's go.
The exact same functionality, just a different bad design on top. Seriously, I know this was 2009, but the terrible web design on these sites is a crime in itself that someone should be punished for. Anyway, once Iran pieces together a catalog of these ugly websites, they watch them. They watch the traffic, they watch the IPs, the locations, to see who would show up. Those that did were caught red-handed working for the CIA. And that's how the spy network in Iran started to...
No! As they say in America, standing on business. What the fuck? No, I'm not LARPing being surprised here. I'm genuinely not. This is so cool. This is fucking spy. I don't know. I nerd out about spy shit. It's still relatively cringe. It's very bro, but come on, this shit's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Unravel. Site.
Thank you, 21 Eager. Welcome in, my friend.
By site, visit by visit. It's shocking.
Imagine they had a VPN. This would be a great place to plug a VPN right now.
Were caught red-handed working for the CIA. And that's how the spy network in Iran started to unravel. Site by site, visit by visit. It's shocking how simple it all was. But John Reedy sees this vulnerability even before Iran does. And he sounds the alarm. I personally crafted several cables detailing the threat we discovered. I provided at least 25 recommendations that we had to impose immediately. But inside the agency, they didn't want to hear it. They did not want to admit the obvious because it was their funding, their platforms, their offices, and their unwillingness to change course that led to future compromises. In 2008, Reedy was noted.
God, Reedy, I hope you got a promotion now. I mean, go fuck yourself working for the CIA, but...
subscriber.
And obviously now in retrospect, it's like, how did you guys not think about this potential security failure? It's fucking obvious as shit, but turns out it wasn't. Thank you, Mumbles, for the 9 months. Hope our beautiful Twitch baby is beautiful and healthy, but don't expect me to pay any parent support.
Notified by his government managers that they want him to take on new responsibilities, requiring a change to his contract. He asked to be assigned to another account, but was denied. And 3 months later, he's informed they will not be renewing his contract. And when he's fired, there are still
the CIA isn't what it used to be. Holy shit.
Hundreds of these websites operating around the world. They're like little ticking time bombs waiting to explode and expose precious informants. But time moved on. 3 long years pass after Reedy was fired, and it's not until informants in China start disappearing one by one that panic sets in. The CIA is in chaos. The panic triggers the creation of a...
Because you want to do it really smart. You don't want to start arresting them one by one. You want to wait and create a database of potential spies in your country. Because if you start taking 1 out, 2 out, 3 out, the CIA is going to be like, okay, we got to pull everyone out, etc., etc. Not because they care about their assets, aka agents, but because they don't want a scandal on their hand. The Chinese seem to have waited and waited and waited.
Joint CIA-FBI task force, codenamed Operation Honey Badger. These guys had to find the leak and stop it. But as Operation Honey Badger starts investigating, the dodgy chat websites are not their focus. Rather, another possible explanation appears. A mole. Someone who has been inside the CIA. And as the mole team starts to build a profile, one name keeps coming up. Jerry Chun-Shing Lee. On paper, he ticks every box. Jerry Chun-Shin Lee was born in Hong Kong, raised in Hawaii, and he was an army veteran who was also fluent in Mandarin. He joined the CIA in 1994, and he handled sensitive operations in Beijing and Tokyo. He ran covert assets. But by 2007, something broke. Lee's career had stalled, and he leaves the CIA. He quits, disgruntled, then moves back to Hong Kong. But the CIA took notice. An ex-agent who had a top secret clearance, he had really sensitive information about Chinese spies, and now he's left, disgruntled, and he's moved to a Chinese-occupied territory. It's not a...
Man, the CIA of back in my day would not tolerate any of this shit. Yeah, they just kill him. You just kill him. Like, that's it. The second he becomes disgruntled, the second he starts planning potentially moving to a enemy state, quote unquote, you just off him.
A crime.
Of course, they blamed a minority instead of their own incompetence. Yes, but also like all their assets in China are all minorities. They're all, you know, Chinese American, which we said earlier is so fucking unhinged. Like the only way for the CIA to properly operate in enemy or friendly states is by taking people and making them betray their motherland, right? A place that their grandma is from, or great-grandma, or even mom, or even they themselves. Like, you gotta be a traitor on steroids.
But it is suspicious. So the CIA did something bold, deceptive, and kind of brilliant. They set a trap. They create a fake job opportunity with a big salary and reach out to Lee. But there's a catch. To get the role, he had to attend an interview on US soil. Lee takes the bait. August 2012, Honolulu, Hawaii. Jerry Lee lands, checks into a hotel, and everything seems normal. Except it isn't. The FBI is already there. Operation Honey Badger is waiting, watching. As soon as Lee leaves the hotel room for the day, agents move in with a court-authorized warrant. They searched everything, and they hit the jackpot. Hidden in his luggage are 2 small black notebooks, not too dissimilar from what I'm holding here. The first one was a 41-page date book. The second one, a 21-page address book. Both have handwritten notes, detailed handwritten notes, put in there by Lee, and both are deeply damning. Inside, there were true names of CIA assets with phone numbers, operational meeting locations.
Okay, is it time for conspiracy, Hugo? He had a little black notebook with the names of American assets in the People's Republic of China that he took with him to the United States when he needed to go get documents done or whatever. Maybe, but what? What? I mean, I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like, it's his coworker. Sounds like it was his coworkers. He just brought 2 notebooks, chucked it in there, and we're like, "Yo, guys, we got him. We got him. Promotion. Yes, please. Thank you."
And details about covert facilities. A gold mine.
He was just seeing his old friends. What do they mean? Yeah, maybe. He's just phone numbers, but why was it, handwritten, blah, blah, blah. So either he took the biggest L that I've ever heard of, or that shit was planted.
Meeting locations and details about covert facilities.
I mean, come on. True names, phone numbers, meeting locations, and details about covert facilities. Okay, on a notebook that he brought with him to the American territory of Hawaii. Yeah, that's not comfortable.
A gold mine for foreign intelligence. But that wasn't all. Agents also find a thumb drive, a USB. Forensics dig into it, and buried deep there is a deleted document, which had a breakdown of CIA officers, mission timelines, and sensitive ops. This was top secret stuff. The FBI photographs everything, and then they vanish before Lee even returns. He doesn't know it yet, but he's in trouble. But capturing a traitor wasn't the end of the story. It was just one piece of a complicated puzzle. A puzzle that John Reedy had tried to partly solve years earlier, but that no one wanted to hear. 1 year after evidence was found in Jerry Lee's hotel room, Operation Honey Badger made another shocking discovery. The CIA...
Hey Hugo, KGB, CIA here. If you know our true names, you can command us, like with demons, which we sometimes hire. Thank you for the biddies.
CIA was still using those dodgy chat websites to communicate with informants, but they had spread to China. It's suspected that Iran communicated with China, showing them how to find these websites. Once China had access to the websites, they could track Chinese informants and then hunt them down with deadly precision. The ticking time bomb had exploded, and the CIA had paid the worst price possible. Finally, 7 years after Reedy first noticed it, they scrambled to shut these websites down. But there's something I didn't tell you. Not all of these 20 informants in China used these websites to communicate back with the CIA. Top-tier informants had other, more secure ways of communicating back with the CIA. So could it have been a mole that gave these people away? Well, that's where we come back to Jerry Lee. By 2013, the US government had the pieces, the notebooks, the thumb drive, but in espionage, evidence isn't everything. They still couldn't prove Lee had given it all to China. They needed him to confess it. And Jerry Lee was no amateur.
Waterboarding. It is waterboarding time. It is time to waterboard. Water sports.
He was trained
I'm gonna waterboard
by the CIA, so he knew how to lie, how to evade, how to stay silent. Through 4 rounds of questioning, he held the line. But on the 5th, he cracked. Lee confessed to receiving taskings.
4 lines of questioning. Yeah, my guy was tortured. Yeah, they physically motivated him. Very hygienic wording by the creator here.
and direct orders from Chinese intelligence officers. He admitted that he created the classified document found on his drive. On May 1st, 2019, Jerry Chun Xing Li pleaded guilty to conspiracy to deliver national defense information to a foreign government. He knew exactly what he was doing. And on November 22nd in the same year, he was sentenced to 19 years in federal prison. In the end, Operation Honey Badger did catch the mole, and they also discovered the communication.
My guy moves from China to the United States, betrays China, works for the United States, realizes that the United States don't give a flying fuck about him, then goes back and betrays the United States to China. Complicated individual. But I guess he cleared his hands in the end, and for that he received the gift of 19 years in prison.
Hack that led to these informants being caught. So you might say, job well done, right? Well, whilst Jerry Lee's name was splashed across news headlines, there really wasn't a lot of publicity about the failure in these communication systems. No one was held accountable for the dodgy implementation, leaving literal password in the source code. No one was held accountable for leaving these sites live and letting them spread to areas where they shouldn't ever have been used. And definitely no one was held accountable for ignoring the whistleblower, John Reedy, and ultimately firing him and kicking him out of the agency. But accountability in espionage is complicated. Intelligence agencies like the CIA prefer to remain in the shadows and operate in secret for fear of leaking unnecessary information to their enemies. That information then could be used against them. Yet secrecy comes at a price. We may never know the names of these 20 informants in China that risked their lives to bring back information to the US.
That were traitors to the People's Republic of China. Yeah. Okay, yeah, American subjectivity, though his accent doesn't sound American. I love how white guys always pick the side of America. Well, America does not give a flying fuck about them. Though I'm not saying he's a Yank simp. He's just saying that the very organization that they worked for, the very country that they worked for, did not manage to keep them safe. And that is what led to their death, right? He's not America simping, but still.
And some of them actually paid the ultimate price with their life to do that. Their sacrifice remains hidden, their names unknown. Should the CIA have held people accountable for these failures? Or is secrecy just the cost of doing business? I'd love to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comments below. Speaking of accountability, Israel's spy agency Mossad was never held accountable for the shocking crime they committed in Dubai in 2010. If you're interested in that story, you should watch my video on it.
Yes, we will.
A man steps onto the tarmac.
This one is called How 26 Israeli Spies Hunted This Man. Let's go. Jesus Christ, 26. Imagine one Israeli sneaking up behind you. Now imagine 26. Oh my God. I think I had a bad dream that entailed that.
At Dubai airport, carrying a passport identified.
Dubai.
A man steps onto the tarmac at Dubai airport, carrying a passport identifying him as Michael Bodenheimer, a German-Israeli businessman. But this man is not Michael Bodenheimer. Mossad, Israel's national intelligence agency, has stolen the real Bodenheimer's identity. At passport control, no one suspects anything out of the ordinary. 14 other Mossad agents had arrived the day before using the exact same technique, with 11 more on their way, landing in the next few hours. The assassins had just a few hours to find and kill Mahmoud al-Mabou, whose nickname was the Fox, as he had evaded their capture many times before.
His editing is fucking great as well. This channel, what the hell?
But even foxes can be trapped.
By the way, linking video, we always support the original creator of the video. I don't know if this person is Susi or not. For now, they're not Susi. They're just doing, centrist analysis of historical moments in an extremely well-written way. So don't come after me later if it turns out they're shit. But link is pinned if you want to go and subscribe. If all 1,000 of us go and subscribe, that would be a huge boost to the channel.
Dubai's police chief says he's certain Mossad is responsible.
This is an insult to Britain, to Australia, to Germany, and to New Zealand.
Is this another secret Mossad operation?
I have nothing to say about this event in Dubai.
In such operations, I mean, we've known that the Mossad and the Israelis don't take chances.
That's the only way to fight terrorism and to touch them in their stomach, to show them that we can come to every place where they are.
Our message, the fact that Israel has might, and the might is military and other, is known across the world. We don't have to advertise. This is a well-known brand name.
I mean, yeah, the branding of Israel is truly world known. I just don't think in the way you would like it to be, buddy.
So who exactly is Mahmoud al-Mabhouh? And why is he on the top of Mossad's kill list? To some, he was a soldier. To others, a terrorist. But to Israel, Mahmoud al-Mabhouh was a problem that refused to go away. Born in Gaza.
There you go. That was a green flag. Like, to some soldier, to others a terrorist. That's a green flag. That means, you know, he's not exclusively pro-Western, but he's trying to keep it as less controversial as possible.
He was raised in war. He spent over 20 years in a war zone. Conflict became his way of life. And this leads him to join the terrorist organization, Hamas. Then, in 1989, he kidnapped and helped execute 2 Israeli soldiers who were hitchhiking. Their bodies were later discovered in shallow graves.
Thank you, 000JP, for the sub. Join 000 by making the number of my subscriber count not 000. And in return, I'll say thank you. You'll feel good. And both of us will have a grand old time. Thank you very much.
Each with bullet wounds to the head. That got him noticed. But it was what came next that made him dead.
Chatters, no Fed posting in chat, please. But yes, emojis, emotes are more than welcome, if you know what I mean.
Dangerous. As a Hamas logistics officer, he moved missiles. Anti-tank missiles, guided missiles, and long-range rockets. All bound for Israel. Mossad had tried to kill him before, sending agents over the previous year to spike his drink with poison. The drink was delivered to his room, but it didn't work. He slipped away. But this time, Mossad wouldn't fail. January 19th.
Thank you, Assassin Kevy. Welcome to the community, my friend. Thank you for the prime.
3:15 p.m. Al-Mabhouh's plane lands in Dubai. He moves carefully through Terminal 3, his eyes scanning his surroundings. He's cautious. You have to be alert, he said in an interview the previous spring.
And me, praise Allah, they call me the fox, because I can see what's behind me, even what is behind that wall.
Today, however, he's vulnerable. He's traveling under a fake Palestinian passport, using one of his aliases, and critically, he's without his usual 2 bodyguards who couldn't secure a seat on his flight and are scheduled to arrive tomorrow. A deadly mistake.
Oh, yeah. The plan to... It's always something small like this. It's always something small. They couldn't get a fucking seat on the fucking plane. He probably needed to travel for something that was very urgent. He needed to travel tomorrow immediately, and there wasn't enough seats on the fucking plane. And boom, bam, he doesn't have security, which allows for the Mossad cunts to take him out.
Kill al-Mabhouh was hastily authorized just 4 days earlier, after Israeli military intelligence hacked into an email server he used, discovering he would be traveling to Dubai on January 19th. But other than the flight details, they have no idea of his other movements while he's in Dubai, and how they are going to execute him. Because of this, the assassination team is large, 26 people in total, posted around the airport, in hotels, and in the city, waiting to catch a glimpse of the fox.
This is the type of hit where the target dictates how and when he is to be made dead.
But while Mossad watched their target, the city was watching them. In recent years, Dubai had quietly upgraded its surveillance network. Over 300,000 cameras are connected, watching the entire city. In a few days, this footage would come back to haunt Mossad, exposing and embarrassing them and showcasing how one of the world's most secretive spy agencies runs its operations. Mahmoud al-Mabou is so closely shadowed that mere seconds after passing immigration control, he has to steer his luggage around one of his would-be assassins. The airport surveillance team quickly confirms his identity, trailing him discreetly to the taxi rank, then shadowing him during the short 5-minute drive to the Al Bustan Ratana Hotel, one of the 3 hotels that al-Mabou had stayed at in his previous trips, and where Mossad agents are already waiting. 3:25 p.m. Inside the Ratana, 2 agents, in fake tennis gear, including holding tennis rackets, are already stationed in the lobby. Al-Mabou checks in, collects his room key, and steps into the elevator.
This is insane. The internet is insane. We're watching a literal, spy assassination operation live right now on Twitch from the cameras right before a guy gets murdered. The internet is actually fucking wild. Can you believe that this is free? Except for you subscribers, of course, which make it free for everyone else so that I can keep doing this, or that a creator like this can keep doing this. I love the internet. It's pretty insane. You're about to watch man, live out his last moments on planet Earth. Welcome to a random fucking Friday.
The 2 men in tennis gear follow him in. When he steps off at the 2nd floor, he doesn't notice that the agents are following him. But one of them notes the number on his door. One of the tennis players immediately reports back to the team. Room 230, target located. And just like that, the Mossad machine begins to turn. But who creates a system like this? So efficient, so cold, so ruthless? To understand how this machine operates, you have to understand what built it. Few people have endured as much persecution throughout history as the Jews. They remember what happens when 6 million people disappear and the neighbors stay quiet. The Mossad was born in the shadows of this post-World War II chaos. Officially founded in 1949 under Israel's first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion. When Israel declared independence, it needed more than just soldiers. It needed spies.
Yeah, because they created every single fucking enemy that can be created in their particular region by fucking wiping everyone out and then colonizing.
Thus,
but yeah, you got to create really hardcore intelligence agencies in almost every apartheid or settler colonial state. The 2 main, most important things are going to be your intelligence agencies and your basically death squads. That's why the IDF as an army sucks so much, because they're trained to suppress populations. They're not trained for active combat, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, you hyper focus on keeping your settler colony safe, and that is by eliminating every threat to the very ideology of the settler colony, which implies the extermination of the locals.
The Mossad was created as a secretive, off-the-books agency tasked with defending the Jewish state from enemies near and far, by any means.
Pretty sure Mossad, CIA, MI6 all work together. Yeah, 100%. What the fuck? Yeah, of course. The fuck? Yeah. Of course. The idea of this stems from a bunch of thugs who did pogroms during the Nakba. Yeah. That's the IDF to this day. There's pogrom squads. Unless they're pestering or shooting a Palestinian grandmother, they literally shit their fucking pants. And if they did not have an unlimited money glitch from Washington, these guys would be incapable of holding 2 square miles.
Necessary. Since World War II, Israel has assassinated more people than any other country in the Western world.
Yeah, a lot of it in the beginning was based as fuck. They were hunting down Nazis. A lot of Holocaust survivors would join the Mossad and then would go to Argentina, go to Brazil, go to different South American places. Some even in the United States proper. There were even scandals between Israel and the United States because the United States would take certain high-ranking Nazi officials because they want to use their know-how, etc., etc. Operation Paperclip. All of you guys know this. But the Israelis would be like, nah, we're killing this fucking dude.
These through targeted killings, sending a pretty clear message. If you're an enemy and we deem you as a threat, we will find you and we will kill you. Unfortunately for Al-Mabu, he was next up on this list. Minutes after the Mossad has identified the room Al-Mabu will be staying in, an agent calmly reserves room 237, directly opposite. Headquarters for the mission have been secured. It's now 4:23 p.m. Al-Mabu leaves the hotel and heads to a shopping center, with agents following him. This is the window of opportunity they have been waiting for. 4 men arrive at the hotel, split into 2 different pairs, all wearing baseball caps.
Osalo said Nazis like Otto Skorzeny. Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
The second pair are carrying 2 large bags. 3 of them are Caesarea operatives, the team's trained executioners. The 4th is an expert lockpicker. They move quickly to room 237. The agents trailing Al-Mabu send word. He's on his way back to the hotel. It's game time. It's now 8 p.m. With the hotel staff gone for the night, agents watch the hallway on level 2 as the lockpicking specialist slips silently towards room 230. His job is delicate.
What's up, Ray? Give Ray VIP. Yeah, that's a good idea. Everybody go! Give Ray a follow if you somehow haven't already. Dear friend of the show. Wait, fuck. Unable to add VIP. Ray with a fucking R. There we go. Should work now. You've added Ray as VIP.
Welcome. You are now VIP position here in stream. You're a very, very famous man now. Very famous.
Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day.
Reprogramming the electronic lock so the Mossad master key can open it. As he works, reprogramming the electronic lock so 230. His job is delicate. Reprogramming the electronic lock so the Mossad master key can open it. As he works silently.
I don't think that's that difficult. I don't think recalibrating your fucking key card in a hotel in order to be able to open another door is that complicated. Cloning, just cloning devices is so fucking easy. Maybe back then they didn't exist. No, they definitely existed. What the fuck?
Out of the view.
That's why if you don't put, your house should have an actual key, a physical key, okay? If you live in an actual house, not in an apartment, then the outer gate should also have a physical key. Everything electronic can be hacked. I hate the fucking horror movies where they have a super digitalized apartment or digitalized house, and then a hacker kidnaps their house basically and starts systematically killing them in said house. Because I'm rooting for the murderer. Why are you so stupid? Why did you make your doors digital, your windows digital? What? Dumb fuck.
View of the cameras. The elevator doors open unexpectedly. A tourist slips into the corridor. Thinking quickly, one of the agents intercepts him, engaging.
I've worked at a large hotel. Someone can easily get a master key that opens everything. Thank you, Jack. There you go. None of these motherfuckers watched Battlestar Galactica. I have a smart house. Yeah. Everything is computer. My house is computer. Sir, how did they get into your house? Because it was computer, and they knew how to do computer. Oh la 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 la.
Works silently out of the view of the cameras. The elevator doors open unexpectedly. A tourist slips into the corridor. Thinking quickly, one of the agents intercepts him, engaging the stranger in casual, friendly conversation. The tourist suspects nothing. Finally, the lock clicks open. Click. The team quickly slips inside room 230 and begins the tense and patient wait for the target to return. At 8:24 p.m., Mahmoud Al-Mabu returns to the hotel.
But his security is still not there. They would not have been able to do this if his 2 security guards were non-stop waiting at the door, or were non-stop inside of his apartment room, or were tailing him and making sure that nobody can tail their client, etc., etc. For those of you joining us a little bit later, the reason, it's insane. It's actually insane. The reason why his 2 security guards weren't there is because they couldn't book the flights. They couldn't come with him on the flight. They needed to come on the next day in the morning. It's always these small things that end up getting you killed.
He takes the elevator up to his floor, brushing past a female assassin. He taps his card. The click of the door is the last sound he will ever control. As he steps inside, he notices something's not quite right. But it's too late. The executioners grab him and press a device to his neck that uses ultrasound waves, opening his skin, creating an invisible passage for the drug to slip through. The drug of choice is succinylcholine, a fast-acting muscle.
What the fuck? Why don't they just shoot him because of potential diplomacy problems with Dubai? That's the only reason I can see. Why don't they just who gives a fuck? Like nobody will give a fuck in the Western world because this man is already designated as a terrorist, and when you're designated as a terrorist, pretty much everything is allowed.
Also relaxing.
Noise? I mean, there's 20 of them there. Knives then. But okay, they gotta do it the extra special science way.
His brain and vision are working fine, but he's helpless and can't move. He's lowered to the floor where the agents suffocate him with his own pillow.
That was AI art, by the way.
At 8:46 p.m., just 20 minutes later, the executioners and the lockpicker quietly exit room 230. Mission completed. By sunrise, all 26 agents are out of the country. But there was one thing Mossad didn't plan for: the cameras. It isn't until the following day...
Yeah, which allowed us to watch the whole operation. Insane. Sucks isn't a drug. It's a part of a metabolic process. If you get a synthetic dose, it paralyzes you and you suffocate. And it's unidentifiable. Crazy. Thank you so much. Fuck, Gabriel is smart.
January 20th.
I mean, I always knew you were smart. You have a lot of experience, as they say.
Mahmoud al-Mabou's body is finally discovered. Inside room 230, he's lying beneath the sheets in black shorts. No signs of a struggle. Death is ruled natural and the body is sent to the morgue under the fake alias he used to travel here. But back in Damascus, Hamas officials grow uneasy. Mabou hasn't checked in, and that's unusual for him. By the next day, January 21st, a Hamas official is dispatched urgently to Dubai to search police stations and morgues. Eventually, he finds al-Mabou's body lying anonymously in a refrigerated drawer. Once confirmed that the body was Mahmoud al-Mabou's, a Hamas official contacted Dubai Chief of Police, Dali Khalifan Tamim, and told him that the dead man with the Palestinian passport was actually a high-ranking member of Hamas, and his death was almost certainly not from natural causes. Tamim...
Holy shit, Hamas called the cops. That's... Wow. Imagine being the police chief. Hi, who is this? What the hell?
Ordered a second autopsy which flagged the presence of succinylcholine, confirming this was not a natural death. Next, he turned to the flight records, scanning every arrival into Dubai shortly before al-Mabou landed and every departure after he was already dead. Then he went further back, cross-referencing old entries like Mabou's entry into the country the previous year when the Mossad agents had tried to poison his drink. He was looking for repeat patterns, and he found them. All 26 of the Mossad agents involved in the hit had traveled under the same fake identities they'd used on earlier missions. A careless oversight. Armed with those names, Tamim started matching them to hotel registries, and those registries had something even better than paper trails: security cameras. Every check-in, every fake smile at the front desk, every suitcase full of spy gear caught on tape. Suddenly, the police had a full roster: who arrived when, where they stayed, and most importantly, what they looked like.
Yeah, this is like a very big hit on Mossad, because all 25 of these people are no longer reliable assets, right? They're completely useless when it comes to in-field work, like completely useless. Every single Hamas operative that works outside of Palestine will know their faces from a mile away, will be trained to know their faces. their faces and any other face of a known Mossad operative. So that's a lot of fucking money, a lot of fucking training that now needs to be in the office, the Mossad office, or just operate in so-called Israel proper. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because if they're operating inside of Israel proper, they can kill more Palestinians. To the offices they go.
The final product.
They burn themselves just to get one guy. That's dumb as fuck. I mean, they ended up killing him, but yeah, I don't know how to calculate the efficiency of this operation. Like, was it worth to take out this one dude versus everything else? I mean, he was the main guy to smuggle missiles from Iran and to Iran. I'll say pretty important dude.
Product was a 27-minute video of surveillance footage that told the whole story. Tamim releases it for the world to see. On the back of this footage, arrest warrants were issued for all 26 Mossad members, their faces blasted across the front pages of newspapers and televisions worldwide. As a result, entire divisions of Mossad were shut down, the spies' cover blown, and their tactics exposed. But then came the diplomatic firestorm. Outrage from Europe and Australia for the identity theft Israel conducted. All those fake passports. One by one, countries lined up to ask, what the hell was Israel thinking? And
what the hell, Israeli? Oh, what? Whoa! Sorry, that was I had to. Oh, I fucking had to.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I.
Mossad, as always, stayed silent. Not a word, not a denial, nothing. 15 years later and not a single conviction. Those 26...
Yeah, of course. If you're Israeli and you murder, it's just a new day at work, yeah?
Mossad agents have vanished, probably hiding somewhere in Israel. And unless one of them makes a mistake, books the wrong flight, crosses the wrong border, they may never see the inside of a courtroom. But so many questions linger. Was it justice? Was it revenge? Was it warranted to help protect the Israeli people? Or was it just cold-blooded murder? Thank you all.
I am a centrist channel, so I will not give you my opinion, said Schnapp. But very decent journalism, very well edited. Some use of AI art, which is always kringe, but yeah, Mossad, they do be murdering people. I mean, literally, that's it. That should be their slogan. Mossad, they do be murdering people. That's it. That's the tweet. Mossad, they do be murdering people. That's the entirety of the tweet. This month we got to 1,881 subscribers. Not bad. Not bad. Not, you know, that meme. Like,
what does the decimeter say? 3.6 Rontgen, but that's as high as the meter.
3.6. Not great, not terrible.
Pretty much. What are you guys gonna be up to now? Because I gotta bounce. It's extremely late here. I'm gonna bounce, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I got a D&D session. Tomorrow I'm going to be, what's it called? Tomorrow I'm gonna play my Orc Barbarian. And I'm gonna make sweet, sweet love to my snake wife. We pretty much like liberated the first village. Turns out the first village was ran by a vampire lady that bedazzled the mayor of the village. And now we convinced the village. We basically did a coup, right? The police force of the village, which are these huntsmen or whatever. We motivated them to coup the vampire lady with us. And now have full approval of said village to, what's it called? To join us in our great fight against the Orcish invasion, which is the main overarching plot of the thing. Have you watched my Dimension 20? Have you watched any Dimension 20? No. What is that? Before you go, take a look at this ugly shoe. Ugly shoe. Let me see that ugly shoe. Oh, damn. That is fucking Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I mean, this you could make work with particular outfits. But this is satanic. But it's so practical. Yeah, I mean. I love the type of shit that pops up on screen whenever I click on any fucking tab. The mud shoe. Thank you, Urban. Yeah, Dimension 20. What's the Dimension 20? It would be really cool if you could get some other communist YouTubers together for a semi-regular D&D night. Critical Role, but with class consciousness would be hyper base. Yeah, it would be, because the current D&D session that I'm playing is like with two philosophy PhDs. One is getting a philosophy PhD, and a super smart, like super leftist IT guy. I'm literally the dumbest guy in the room, which is very difficult because I'm very smart. I'm kidding. I'm always the dumbest guy in the room, especially with you chatters. All of you are smarter than me. But yeah, but because they're all smart, it's class conscious as fuck. Like it's every town, every village, any like group represents different like ideological currents that exist IRL. It's very well written. It's very well written. This I know, of course. Are they called Dimension 20?
I don't know what you kids are up to, but I do know one thing. Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in a given nation. It's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and police are basically an occupying army. You know what I mean? You guys want to make some bacon? He pulls a mask over his face, pulls a lit Molotov cocktail out of his mailbag, and whew,
That was on fire the whole time?
hold on, kiddo!
You're so brave!
He goes, boom, hits the lock, opens the jail cell. You see the fucking halflings with like black ski masks rappel in, just start opening fires, smashing.
Oh yeah, my mom works here. A lot of these people are good people.
Let's make some fucking bacon!
Let's go!
Fucking based. Oh. By the way, educate your unk before he bounces. What should I say instead of based? I feel like based is too old. I feel like based is just not based anymore. What do I say instead of based? Young people in chat, help me out. Beast mode. Boist. Skibidi, you fucking asshole. Long dick. Holy shit, that was long dick to sell. Poggers, dude, that was poggers. Based is still cool, you think so? Awesome sauce. I'm not saying awesome sauce. Poggers is pretty decent. Poggers is not bad. Jihad Summer. No, I mean instead of based. It's White Boy Jihad Summer. That I know. That I'm a member of. Radical, dude. That's radical. Yeah, you're not gonna get me with that one. Too much of a boober to know. Well, thank you. Okay, so chat. Today's stream was very poggers. I will be seeing you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, no, I will be seeing you tomorrow for an early stream. See you tomorrow for a poggers early stream. Thank you to everybody that subscribed. If not, I'll see you on Tuesday for sure. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. Thank you very, very, very much throughout the whole month. Thank you to everybody that gifted, even more than that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone who followed. If you're here and you haven't clicked that button, just click that button. Same goes for subscribers or gifters that are still considering it. I'm extremely grateful for your support, and we had a great month. This was a decent month. I streamed less this month than I did the previous month, so next month I'm going to stream more. I'm going to stream more from the seaside. I'm going to stream from that weird room that you guys call a prison cell. Thank you very much, Pandas. What's up, Pandas? Thank you. 18 months. Pretty insane. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Have fun. For those of you who are new here, thank you very much for joining the community. Stream pretty much 4 times a week. Join the Discord community by writing ! Discord. Is the most unhinged and one of the OG leftist Discords. It's very old now. It's 5-6 years. I think there's like 5,000 members, and it's like completely unhinged. But that's how we love it. And yeah, follow me on socials. Blah blah blah. The mods do really cool edits over on TikTok, so a slight follow there would be mucho apreciado. And I'm gonna send you over to Aaron. I'm gonna send you over to Aaron because I see that Aaron is streaming right now. There you go. This is the TikTok, Tiki-Taki. I'll raid Aaron, my main competitor during the weekends. That motherfucker. He walks in on my territory trying to stream on the weekends. I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm kidding. Say hi to Aaron. Thank you, chat. You are the best. And I will see you tomorrow or on Tuesday. Seriously. Thank you for everything you guys do for me. And you're welcome for everything I do for you. What the fuck? Where's the raid button? Son of a bitch! Fucking jebem te u pičku, bre, te jebem. Pa raid? Pa ne njega, bre. Aaron Ano, jebote. Fucking technologija. Ej. Fucking, like this. Now are you gonna work, motherfucker? Yeah, now you're gonna work. Jebem te u dupe te jebem. Ajde, diži to, bre. 500. More. Let's send at least 800 people. No. Twitch has decided to send only 600. What's that limitation, by the way? Anyways, technologia. Praise the global intifada. White boy jihad in New York City tomorrow. Have a great day. It was very nice to see you. Bye-bye.